Here we go. And we are up. We are up on there. So, we are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. I am going to regulate the chat. I have to, bro. I have to regulate the things that people come up on here and say. But we're gonna Nasha said why 60. I think 60 is reasonable. If I said 80, y'all will lose your mind. So I think 60 is reasonable to like if you're working too many hours in the week and you give your time to a business for too long or for too long during the week, then you won't have enough time to actually go and focus on your skills. You see what I'm saying? So like it's if I say 60, then you're doing a part-time job somewhere and you're working your full-time job, right? So you have that you're working, you're earning your money, you're saving money as well, and then you go home and then you have enough time to work on your on your skills, work on certifications, work on researching what you want to do if you don't know what you want to do. You have enough time to do those things as well. And ooh, excuse me. If you if you have like a doctor's appointment or something, you're not losing a whole bunch for it because you still got a part-time job that you can work as well and make up for the hours during the day that you might have had if you had like a doctor's appointment. Like it's just they're good things to do. So that I say 60 because I feel like it's reasonable to be able to work and earn money as well as work on the skills that you need in order to get out of those low-paying jobs and get into a career that's going to pay you enough so that you can retire on. You see what I'm saying? Zaz, welcome in, man.
Hey man,
How old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 30. I'm from the UK though.
30 from the UK. What do you do for a
Yeah,
living?
accountant.
How long you been an accountant for?
10 years.
10 years. You've been an accountant since 20?
Yeah, since I graduated.
You graduated at 20?
But I did a placement year at 20 and then I went back to uni and did my final year.
Huh. Okay. Um, Welcome
Where
to
you
the show,
from?
man. I'm in the United States, bro. Shout out to all of the United Kingdom guys out there, man. Shout out to y'all. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what do you have to say on the topic, man?
Yeah, I agree. I think even in the UK with obviously I work in finance, I know a little bit about interest rates and anything that happens in America impacts us in terms of trade, etc.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think even now the cost of living in the UK is quite bad. Even though I'm an accountant, I do have side businesses in property, and I have a second job as well.
Okay. So how many hours a week you think you're working?
Um, so Monday to Friday at home is normally like 35 to 40, and then 16 in my second job. So probably about 60, yeah. So I agree with the statement that you've made, actually.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah.
What made you get into that mindset of that you needed to work more so that you could get more out of society to do what you want to do? Whether it's in your real estate or your side businesses, what made you get into that mentality and get out of the mentality of, I'm just gonna work my
To be honest
40
with you,
hours and go home.
I think I agree with. I watch your content quite a lot, actually.
Oh, you watched the
So
show?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
long you been watching the
Uh,
show for?
like probably like maybe I've only been on TikTok for like 3 months, so probably um so the stuff I'm trying to look out for is like finance stuff,
Hmm.
mindset stuff, and also it's completely against what else I watch is like Call of Duty. Obviously it's like I play that on the side, but now
Okay.
working now
Um.
working a lot now working a lot, you don't really get much time to play, to be honest. But yeah, I've been watching your show for a while. But
Okay.
yeah,
All
sorry,
right.
what was the question again?
I'm glad you watched the show, man. I said what made you get out of the mentality of I'm just gonna work my 40 hours a week, go home, do what I want to
It's
do.
not enough. It's not enough, man. So in my in my in my accounting job, I earn, so I would say 60k, but I don't know how much that is in dollars. So 60,000 in British pounds is probably about 80,000 in US dollars, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's that
maybe
high, but
maybe less, maybe a little bit less. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just think I want to do property full time. I don't really want to work for someone else. The taxes in the UK are really bad. Once you start earning over 50K, they kind of tax you about 40% on anything you earn over 50,000. So I want to kind of obviously do property full time in the future. So
okay,
yeah, even having a good corporate job isn't enough, man.
okay. Have you gotten any raises during your time of being an accountant?
Yeah. So obviously I started on like 25K, and in the last, I would say, 10 years, I've obviously moved up the ranks, etc.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, that's great, man. And you said you're in your 30s, correct?
Yeah, early 30s.
Early 30s, 60 hours a week, just about. Okay.
You think you think
Have you seen any? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think you think 60 hours is enough, or I don't think you get enough time in the day to do more, right? But I think
Well,
that's enough.
you could always do a little bit more. But I mean, when it comes to you, since you have a degree and you're within a career, for
Yeah,
you it's a little bit different, right? But
exactly,
for the people
exactly.
that I'm talking about that are working these $15 to $20 an hour positions here in the
Yeah,
United States, uh, they
yeah.
are not tracking towards retirement like they should be. So I'm
Mm,
trying to get them to get their skills up by getting online certifications to go into things like tech, online
mm,
certifications to go into logistics, project management, things of that nature. And if they're not
mm,
going to get into that, then they can always go into the trades, join the military, start their own
mm.
business, whatever they want to do. But I want to get them in that habit of working those hours and saving,
Yeah,
because a lot of people here live paycheck to paycheck. So,
that's not good.
you
That's
know,
not good, to be honest.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get them into the mentality of, hey, you need to be going out here getting an extra job, working 20 hours a week part time, so that you could save
Mm,
some money, have some money saved, and use some of that money to invest towards your future. And then once you get your job working making $60,000 a year or so, then you can
mm.
kind of wean off of that a little bit and start
Yeah,
working within that industry in order to get raises within that industry.
exactly. Yeah. No, definitely. I've always found America fascinating. I've never been, but
You need to come on, man.
yeah. Yeah. Whereabouts are you based?
I'm in the South.
Okay.
So I'm in the Southeast. I live in Alabama. Do you know where that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I live in Alabama, so I'm in the South. I'm in the biggest city in Alabama,
Mm.
and we do a lot of missile defense. NASA headquarters is here. FBI headquarters is here. Um,
Oh, nice.
we have a lot of defense contractors here, some of the most in the United States. So it's a lot of
Mm.
tech roles, cybersecurity roles, military defense contractors, and
Mm.
subcontractors. But we
Oh,
also
my
have a really
brother's.
big logistics
Mm.
hub here as well.
Oh, nice. What's the finance market like? Where's that mainly? Because I'm an accountant. So
I'd
where's
say
that?
it's stable here. I'd say the finance
Yeah.
market's stable
Where's the
here.
main place to look for jobs for finance in America? Is it
In
all over? Or?
America, I mean,
Yeah.
banks, lawyer, everybody needs people that are accountants, man. Who
Yeah.
hires the most accountants in the United States? Do you know?
Yeah. Nah, I wouldn't know.
It's the FBI.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
I want to say the FBI is one of the highest. Well, I think the FBI hires more accountants than than anybody. But um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, there's an FBI headquarters here. There's plenty of accountants here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's pretty stable. I have a couple of mentors that are and elders that are
Nice.
around me that were accountants and retired as accountants.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good actually. What do you do then? Is it that you do this full time or you?
I'm a business owner, so
Okay.
I own lawn care companies, landscaping companies. I do auto glass, windshield repair,
Nice.
renovations, construction, flooring, painting, things of that
Yeah.
nature. I'm
Mm.
also into real estate a little bit. I'm learning more about that every day. So I
Mm.
do quite a lot. I do quite a lot.
That's really good, man. That's really good. It's best to keep your options open because another reason why I got into property is because you just never know with the current climate, you could get laid off your job. You need to have
True.
different pots. You need to have different pots of revenue streams.
I got laid off
Yeah.
before I got my business, dude. I got laid off.
Really?
Yeah, I got laid off at a job here,
Mm.
working with silencers in the ATF,
Okay.
company called Tapco, out of Kennesaw, Georgia. We fulfilled a lot of orders for them,
Mm.
and when I got laid off, I was like, man, like this could happen at any time, and you might not even do anything wrong. So I might
Exactly.
need to kind of reorient myself and
Yeah.
figure something out for myself that I like to do. And then I started my first business at about 21, and here I am at 26, about to turn
Oh,
27 next month. So here I am,
oh,
and
okay.
I'm making
That
it
is, you're
work.
doing well for you're doing well for yourself, man.
I do okay. I do okay. I do
Yeah.
okay.
Do you get? How do you? I want the question I had actually because I'm new to TikTok, but I don't know if you get it, but a lot of these people that go live, they get a lot of hate. How do you deal with it?
I get a ton of hate on here, dude. A
Yeah,
ton. If you stay in here long, if you've watched my content for long enough,
I
you
have. Yeah,
see
I have.
you see
I
the
have.
amount of
Yeah.
hate that I get. But truly, like, I mean, sometimes I deal with it well, sometimes I don't deal with it so well, man. And
Yeah.
but at the end, the reason why I don't deal with it well sometimes because I don't believe that people truly understand how important it is
Mm,
to get ahead of the curve. Being below the
definitely.
curve is going to make it significantly harder for you. And when people
Mm,
start making decisions within their life that are life altering decisions, having kids out
yeah.
of wedlock and things of that nature, and
Mm,
doing drugs and um, having substance abuse issues and things of that nature, it makes
mm,
it significantly harder. And some people, they just don't really see it. They don't understand the vision. But my goal is to
mm.
help people that are within my generation and the
No, you're
generation
doing
before
it.
me retire. I
Yeah,
need them to retire.
you're doing
So
something positive, which is good. Right? People should see that and
yeah,
take that as
but they don't
a
want to work the 60 hours, man. You're gonna see it
yeah.
here today. They don't want to work the 60 hours. They think that that's too much, but at
Right.
the same time, they're not making enough money. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
what are you gonna do?
it all depends on your mindset and if you want to be successful. Like I could on my 9 to 5 job, I could just live comfortably, but I don't want to be just comfortable. I want to be successful. There's two different things, right?
Right.
So that's the thing. You can be comfortable or you can be successful. So that's the reason. Like I could more than happy just do 37 hours and then just play football. We call it soccer here. No, you call it soccer there, but we call it
Oh,
football.
sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Soccer,
yeah,
football, things that you like to
yeah.
do. And that's cool.
Mm,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, I'm glad that you kind of see it. I'm glad you see it. All right, bro. It's my second time muting you. Don't unmute yourself because you have an echo.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad you kind of see it. The
Mm,
if more people, and I'm sure your mates around you, um, I'm sure they see what you're doing, and you should be feeding off of each other. People that are within your friend
yeah,
groups that are actually your friends. So
yeah.
when that's why I don't really have a problem with if one person gets it, then the people that are around them will start to change. They'll
Mm,
either start to change or they're not going to be hanging around them anymore. It's
exactly.
what I'm saying. You don't typically hang around people that have significantly different
Yeah,
lives than you do. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So
And also, I just feel like I want to do this now because when I get married and have kids, I don't have to work as hard then, right? If that makes sense. And all depends on age as well, because I know sometimes you do ask the people that join your live about their age, etc.
yeah, I asked everybody in here
Um,
how old they are and what they do for a living.
yeah, yeah.
I need to know that.
Especially, I wish I did start when I was a little bit young, because financial literacy is very important. And I guess when I was younger, I was a bit, I guess, too like financially unaware.
Hmm.
Just spending on like partying and going out and holiday. Well, I suppose holidays is fine because you're creating memories, but on like materialistic things, like cars and clothes, and I wish I'd saved a little bit earlier. I bought my house 5 years ago as well, so
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations, man.
yeah, thanks. So I just think they'd have to teach that in school rather than some random stuff that no one's going to use. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know what they teach in school nowadays in America, but here sometimes they teach you stuff that you don't actually need for
Yeah,
when you go into the
yeah, that's
into
true.
the real into the real world. So yeah, I think that's obviously being an accountant. It's quite important to be financially literate
Right,
yourself, and
right,
yeah,
absolutely. And
yeah,
you need to start teaching people some of that financial literacy stuff here on TikTok, man.
yeah.
People need it. So,
Make spreadsheets, honestly.
well,
Like, yeah,
you got to teach them how to use Excel first.
yeah.
Let me get to the other guys, bro. But I'm glad you
No
watched the
worries,
show, man. I
no
appreciate you
worries,
coming
man.
on.
No worries. Keep up the good work, man.
Yep.
I can enjoy watching your stuff, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Yeah. Safe, bro.
All right, bye bye. Shout out to that guy, man. Uh, Thomas.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know I had a echo. Can you hear me now?
No, I can hear you. You just had an echo, and I'm streaming on YouTube too, so I kind of have to regulate that so people will be able to hear. But
Oh, that's okay.
how old are you? What do you do for a living, man?
23, and I work 2 jobs. I work a warehouse job, and then I do dog grooming on the side.
You do what?
Dog grooming on the side.
Oh, okay. All right, dog grooming, and you work in a warehouse. Okay. How much you make doing that 60 hours a week?
Together, $4,200.
A month?
Yeah, a month.
Okay. What do you have to say on the topic? You said you had a question?
Oh yeah, I want to ask you how long you're going to be live tonight, because I've been wanting to come up and talk to you for a while, but again, I work 60 hours, so every time I'm like about to clock in, or I'm just getting off, and then you get off.
Last couple of lives where I've been on here for about 6 to 10 hours. So I'm gonna be up here for a little bit today. I'll be up here for a little bit.
All right, cool. I'll try to jump back on, because I do really want to talk to you about some stuff, and I appreciate your message of, realistically, we just got to get to it and stop bitching.
Hey, it's no excuses, man. That's what it's all about.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Hey, you too, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Aiden, how you doing, man? How old are you? What do you do for a living?
Good. I'm 22 and I run my own business on a website.
On a website?
Yep.
What do you sell?
I made a gambling website.
Oh, okay. You made one?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And it makes $50K a month.
$50K a month. That's what I'm talking about, man. Congratulations. I'm glad. What do you have to say on the topic, man? What do you have to say? Yep, I had a feeling that was gonna happen. Bloogs, how you doing, man? Bloogs. Oh, yeah. If you can't speak, I'm not gonna have you come up here because if your voice is, because they won't be able to hear you. So like if your voice is, if you guys like have lost your voice, or it's hard for you to speak, try to prioritize getting your voice back before you come up here, man. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. But yeah, man. What I wanted to talk about as far as the 60-hour week thing is concerned, I believe that if you're really serious about being successful, but you're only working 40 hours a week or less than 40 hours a week, I think you're psyching yourself out. Okay? I think you're psyching yourself out, and that you don't really want success within your life. Like you want the comfort and you want the convenience, you want the free time, and I think that's part of the reason, or one of the big reasons, really, why you're stuck where you're at. In truth, man, in today's world, 40 hours is the entry fee to survival. It's the entry fee. Okay? Not success, man. It's the entry fee to survival. You want to separate you have to separate yourself from the average and build something that's true and real for you. If you want to buy back your time later on, if you want to buy back your time later in life, then you got to be willing to pay for it up front, right? So that means 60-hour weeks. That means showing up early, maybe staying late, sacrificing some weekends, and grinding when nobody's really watching you. And, for some of you guys out there that say that you want to be millionaires, man, like millionaires aren't made off of, Netflix binges and, weekend parties and 9-to-5s, energy. Like it's made when you decide that your goals are more important than your excuses. And that's the realest thing that I could tell you. It's made when you decide that your goals are more important than your excuses. And they're built when you understand that hard work now gives you freedom later on. It's delayed gratification. And people like to talk about the whole work-life balance thing. I see people in the chat talking about work-life balance and stuff. Like I get it, but if you're broke and you have nothing built, then your legacy, and if your legacy is like non-existent, then you haven't really earned the balance portion yet. You just need to be working. Companies and organizations use that work-life balance shit on the job postings to entice you to come in there. Like the work-life balance isn't a real thing for you. You need to be working. You should be obsessed, relentless, Because if you build the life that you want, you're gonna be forced to accept the life that you don't. Yeah, if you don't build the life that you want, you're gonna be forced to accept the life you don't. That's a reality. You either suffer the pain of discipline, or you suffer the pain of regret. Right? Either way, you're gonna feel pain. It doesn't like either way you go, it's gonna be pain. People used to tell me, you can either choose to be rich or you can choose to be poor. Both of them are hard. Choose your hard. You see what I'm saying? Keith,
Hey, what up, man?
how you doing, man? How old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 34. I'm a union organizer. I spoke to you yesterday.
You did. You did. What do you have to say about the topic, man?
I only came up here because I kind of want to piggyback off of what you was talking about just now, off of the work-life balance thing.
Oh, you wanted to piggyback off of the work-life balance thing. Okay, yeah. What you got to say about it?
So, are you familiar with it's a little bit of facetious, but are you familiar with either Nintendo, Samsung, or Honda?
Yeah.
Okay, so those companies basically built an ecosystem off of promoting their own company. Yeah, I'm not sure. Are you aware of that
They
or
built
not?
an ecosystem off of promoting their own company.
And with that ecosystem, that embellishes the work-life balance. I don't know if you want me to get into further into that.
I guess what's your issue with what I said about work-life balance?
So you were saying basically be comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? It's basically what you're saying. And I spoke to you yesterday, and like I said to you, I do speak to people about the 60-hour work week, right? Because I feel like not even I feel like I know that's what majority of modern day Americans need to do, right? But we're trying to compete with China. We're trying to compete with the total e-commerce setting that's here, right? But if you look at Honda, you look at Samsung, you look at Nintendo, they basically breeded an ecosystem as far as they pay for people to go to work, they pay for people to assume education, and they also pay for people housing, right? And all those things that those people did was under a 40-hour work week. So it's not necessarily that a 60-hour work week is necessary for everybody, but 40 hours is more than enough, bro. Like these companies have showed us, like 40 hours is more than enough.
I guess how can you have that? How can you have that worldview or that opinion when 80% of our country is living paycheck to paycheck? How can you say that 40 hours is enough when the data doesn't really support that?
Because majority of these private municipalities don't pay their fair share in labor and they don't pay their fair share in taxes. There's a lot of companies that don't pay taxes and they forego that onto the general populace, and they move on and without settlement, and the general populace have to pay for that. That's why.
I'm huh. So your issue is that you believe that they're not paying their fair share in wages when it comes to the labor that's being presented at these companies?
Okay, since we're going to the wages argument, I know for a
No,
fact they're not.
it's not a
I don't.
wages argument. I was just asking you: is that what you mean by what you say? You're saying that they're not paying these people the correct amount for their labor.
Well, I know for a fact. Well, this is where this is where the hinge is, right? So you're trying to pinch me on the wages argument, which I will
No,
rebut to
no,
you.
okay.
That
Let me go back then, because maybe you didn't understand what you said. When you said 40 hours is more than enough, I said, okay, You're saying that 40 hours is more than enough, but majority of the people within our country work less than 40 hours, and 80% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. How can you say that 40 hours is more than enough when people don't have the money in order to pay their bills?
Okay. Have you seen the
Okay, you're asking me
representatives of
you're asking me
MasterCard?
another question. I'll answer your question when you answer my
I,
question.
well, I am answering your question. If you let me finish,
No,
have
you were
you
asking me
seen?
another question. You're about to say, have I seen something? I'm asking you, how can you say that it's more
Okay,
than
so
enough?
I'll propose it this way: the conglomerate representatives of Visa and Mastercard, right? They both said that even though they have an 80% market share of the credit card community, right? They said that if they didn't have an 80% market share, that they wouldn't be able to survive, right? Do you think that is do you think that is reasonable? Because majority of companies make these stances, but Visa and Mastercard specifically have done this in front of Congress recently.
Okay, I watched a little bit of that hearing. What what do you?
So what they said is without 80% market share that they wouldn't be able to survive. A
Okay,
lot of companies make the same staking claims on a smaller value.
all right. I'm sorry. I'm lost on what you're trying to get at. Because you said that these corporations, these companies aren't paying taxes as if that's illegal or something. It isn't. But like,
It's not illegal, but people working within the vicinity of these companies aren't retaining any value from it.
you, let me ask you something. You do understand that these companies absolutely pay taxes, correct? Like you,
Not all. Not all. Majority of
of the
these
companies
big
that don't pay
private entities
federal
do not.
of the companies that don't pay federal taxes. So like Amazon, Netflix, FedEx, GM, those companies that don't pay any federal taxes. You do understand that that doesn't mean that they don't pay anything at all. There's still taxes that they have to pay, correct?
Correct, but
Okay.
they're
Why are
absorbing the
you
market share
upset?
of the state that they enterprise in. So let's
Well,
say
they're paying
if
state
you take, let's
taxes.
say Texas, yeah, for taxes. So let's say if you take the state of Texas, right? If they have a main hub there, right? That's pumping out orders and everything, right? That same money that they're not sharing due to the loopholes that they're not sharing towards the state for taxes or anything like that.
But
That
they are
that
sharing them towards the state. They pay state taxes.
they pay the mandatory minimum mandate.
They pay state taxes. Point blank
They pay
period.
them
They pay
they
state
pay
taxes, they
them
pay property
okay.
taxes, they pay payroll taxes. They pay taxes.
Like I
I don't
said
have a problem with
like I was
them not paying federal income tax because I think the federal government has lost all moral obligation for us to pay federal income tax because the money that they're taking from us, they aren't spending it on things that we approve of.
you realize that doesn't mean that doesn't it does or does not benefit you. Like you realize that doesn't lean towards either way with
I don't
what you
I
just
don't
said.
think you actually realize what I just said. What I'm saying is,
I do.
okay, well, then I said what I said. Why do you have an? Do you agree that the federal government spends millions and millions, if not billions, of dollars on things that you don't agree with, on things that you would rather that money go somewhere else?
I mean, there's 100% of waste, but some of the things that you would see waste is not waste. So I would perpet to
Man,
you, what do you see
man,
as waste?
we already see where the ways they're spending millions, tens of millions of dollars on researching foot fungus. I don't give a fuck about foot fungus. I don't care about that. I know you probably don't care about that either. So that's money that you would say is wasted, and it's money that's coming out of your pocket, my pocket, and other people's pocket within our country. So why is the federal tax argument such a big proponent for you guys when you guys also agree that the federal government is spending money on things that we don't even agree with as a country? What's the problem?
Okay, so my rebut to you is you don't care about foot fungus, right? That's because you not necessarily have to worry about the effect of foot fungus, right? But for us, we have a global imprint, right? Because we are the global police, right? We are the United States. We are the global police. So what if we put down something, right? A chemical agent or whatever, which that is the after effect of other people that is the fallout. So then, therefore, we have to pay for said fallout for foot fungus. That's how these things work.
All right, man. Uh, that's really all I have to say to you on that. I think the overwhelming majority of Americans understand that the government is spending hundreds of millions and billions of dollars on things that we don't even agree with, money that we would rather be put into other things, but we don't really get much of a say in it. So I don't understand why why you guys' argument is, well, these companies aren't paying federal taxes. I don't want to fucking pay federal taxes.
Well,
I
it's a
typically
fifty-fifty
don't.
retort because it's a fifty-fifty retort. So, because we have the world currency, right? So, some of our dollars have to flood into foreign nationalities, right? So, no matter what it's for, our dollar needs to flood into foreign nationalities in order for the dollar to be the world's reserve, right? But at the same time, if it's a fallout effect for something that we have done, we need to pay for that. These both things can be true. So I don't get the point that you're getting at.
Okay, that's fine. I guess you don't have to get it, man. I just I don't understand how people on different sides of the aisle don't see what the country voted for in that sense. And we are tired of all of these millions and billions of dollars going towards things that we don't agree with. And if you agree that there are things that the government spends money on that that could be allocated towards other things, then you can't make the argument that you're upset at corporations for not paying taxes. But even if you did make that argument, man, they don't care. The tax code hasn't really changed significantly when it comes to people that own these corporations where anything's going to change. So it doesn't, like, they haven't changed it. The people before them haven't changed it, and they're not going to change it anytime soon. So what I'm referring to as far as the prompt is concerned about working 60 hours a week, if you're serious about being successful in the world today, why don't let's talk about that, since that's the prompt.
Okay, so I would like to speak on two things. As far as the tax code is only made for people that make a exuberant amount of money. It's not made for the common person. The Actually, it's three things I would like to speak on. The second thing is I don't know if you take me as a Democrat, whatever. I am a Republican. I'm not a MAGA Republican. I voted for Trump in 2016.
I don't care
I
who
did
you
not
voted
vote
for.
for
It doesn't
him.
matter to me who you voted for.
Well, I'm just putting the premise out because I see you laying a layer that I do not belong to. So I did not vote for him recently, uh, due to the decision makings that he's been making. Right, to circle back to the conversation to the 60-hour work week. I'm not sure if you have traveled outside the country before or not, but I have. I've been in the military for 12 years. I just got out 3 years ago. In majority of the countries that I have been to off the top of my head, I can think of at least 10 countries that I've been to. They don't even have a third shift, right? So the government puts money into what they value. So if they value our time, why should we be putting in 40 hours plus per week where that's not a necessity? There's a reason why we've been in a population decline for 30 years, no?
Dude, I don't understand how you can say it's not a necessity and 80% of the country is living paycheck to paycheck. I just don't, I don't understand. I don't understand your thought process. I don't understand. I'm not tracking it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not tracking it. You can't in one breath say that 40 hours isn't enough, or are you saying 40 hours is more than enough? But most people work a little less than 40 hours a week, and they don't have enough money to be able to pay their bills. It doesn't work. So clearly 40 hours isn't enough. We can stop saying that. 40 hours is not enough for the broad mass of people within the country. So you can either say they either need to work more so they can get more money, or you can say they need to get into a different industry over time so that they can make more money that way. Or both.
If people are working 40 hours a week, majority or not, like, are they working for companies that amass $1 billion or more a year?
Some of them are, yeah.
But I'm saying on a majority probability, right? They're probably working for a company that amasses $1 billion or more a year.
And most people don't work
Correct?
for these public companies, man. Like, most people do not work for publicly traded companies. They work for private companies.
Even for private entities, $1 billion more a year.
But you have to understand, like, I don't understand why y'all are so stuck on how much money the company makes. If the company makes $1 billion, okay, if they make $1 billion a year, Walmart made I want to say Walmart made over $20 billion last year.
Walmart makes majority of their money off of people that need Medicare and Medicaid.
Oh my God.
Which is still a public entity that tax dollars go to. So you have $1 billion conglomerate going towards the federal tax dollars.
Why are you pretending as if there's not hundreds, if not thousands, of other companies that also offer Medicare and like they also offer health insurance?
I'm just going off of the presence that you just presented.
No,
whether it's
you guys,
Walmart,
you guys are
Target,
like
Amazon.
You guys are talking about these companies as if you understand the financials of them, and you don't. How much money did McDonald's?
Who are you to say that?
Who am I to say what?
Exactly what you said. You saying that you guys, and then you preface me, saying that we don't understand the amount of money that these certain companies make.
That's not what I said. I said you guys are coming into the marketplace, and you don't understand where the money that is made within these organizations goes. You don't understand how much is going to the workers. You don't understand how much is actually going into the organization. These profit margins that the companies have, typically when they make a lot of money like that, they're low. Typically.
I like this argument. I like it a lot. So how many companies amassing $1 billion or more?
I don't know. You don't understand what I don't think you really don't understand what I'm saying because you keep going back to the billionaire thing.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
No,
Because I didn't complete my thought. I let you complete your thought.
Nope.
Right? I let you complete these thoughts.
Yep.
Right?
I'm gonna complete mine because this is my show. Check this out.
You did already.
Let's just talk about a specific company so we can just get to the root of it. Okay? Because this really doesn't have anything to do.
Then.
Let's okay, fine. Talk about Walmart.
Let's talk about Walmart, because you talk about Walmart, right? Does Walmart have any governmental contracts?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
The answer is yes. Any of these big companies that you mentioned, they have governmental contracts. The main thing that we're going after China for, right, saying that they're playing unfair, right, whether it was DeepSeek or any of the other companies, right, is because we're saying, oh, you're not playing fair because the government is directly pumping money into that, which we're doing, right? These companies that you're mentioning, Target, Amazon, Walmart, they have governmental contracts, right, which means they're receiving a subsidy of public money, which means they can pay their fair share because they're being supplemented. They're not doing it off on their own.
What is their fair share?
Whatever they put in.
No, so whatever's not a number. What's their fair share?
Okay, so our average profit margin will be between 10 to 15%. So whatever 10 to 15% that they put in without the government subsidy.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that is my answer. That is the number they should go off of. Between 10 to 15% of whatever they put in without the government subsidy.
Okay. What's Walmart's net profit margin?
I do not know.
Okay. Let's just say it's 3%. Okay, let's just say
Okay, I'm
it's
cool with that.
well, that's what it is. I didn't want to go back and forth with you on it. Net profit margin's 3%. Okay. Now Walmart made, I want to say, $680 billion in revenue last year. Okay, the company, their gross profit was about 170 billion. Their net income was around 12 billion, I want to say. So, what do you think? What do you think the fair share? Because you're still on this whole federal tax thing. When we both agree that they don't have any moral obligation to really tax us the way they're taxing us anymore. So, what's your issue? What's your issue with Walmart paying the taxes that they pay? What's your issue? What's the problem with that?
How much in taxes did they spend? Well, you didn't give me that figure.
We can find out the exact number. Let's see. So they spent. Oh, hold on. Let me look down on this chart. They spent $5.5 billion on taxes.
$5.5 billion out of how much profit?
Their profit was about 100 and hold on, I gotta go up on the chart.
100 some odd billion.
170 billion. 170 billion was the gross profit.
So less than 5% that they spent.
Yeah. What's that have to do with you? Well, what's that have to do with you? What does any of that have to do with you?
So just going off of the map, it has everything to do with me.
Bro, they're paying more taxes than you and 100,000 other people are paying their lifetime. What's that have to do with you?
I pay more than 5% of my taxes, sir.
Yeah, you're looking at the percentage. I'm looking at the money, the value. $5.5 billion. You and 100 of you would never pay that in your lifetime, ever.
Are we arguing the percentage? Or are we arguing the number?
Dude, what's more important? What's more important to you, the percentage or the amount that they're paying as far as dollar value goes? Because I mean,
well, if it was
$5.5 billion is $5.5 billion. Period.
That doesn't mean anything. $5.5 billion doesn't mean anything, especially that we just.
Why do you want them to pay more?
Hold on. Let me finish my thought. Especially that we just came off of the premise of the government spends a lot of money, they spend a lot of waste, right? But if the government generates 500 billion, but they waste 20 billion, you would argue, why are they wasting 20 billion? No. So the value does differ depending on what you value. No.
I don't even know what you're saying right now, dude. I really don't get your point.
What I'm saying is,
I don't know what that has to do with the American worker that's working within our country. I don't know what that has to do with it. Y'all are worried. If y'all put this effort that you're putting on the taxes that corporations are spending, the taxes that corporations that employ millions and millions of workers, right? If you put that amount of energy into talking about this, if you put that energy into actually being successful in the world, y'all would be a lot better off. You're talking about shit that doesn't have nothing to do with nothing.
Y'all, but you are a small business owner, and y'all haven't fought for your own rights because you, as a small business owner, haven't fought to be independent of a Walmart, of an Amazon that actually allows you to occupy that space. It doesn't matter what space
Walmart doesn't have anything to do with my business, brother.
They do. They have 100% to do with that because look at Amazon. Amazon recently didn't have anything to do with the drug industry, right? But they took a whole pharmaceutical impulse into that. And then on top of that, they took a whole grocery market.
Dude. Listen.
Hold on, let me finish my thought.
I'm getting tired of the conversation at this point. It's starting to frustrate even me.
Whole Foods and everything
I need you to stop. Walmart doesn't have anything to do with my business. Point blank. Period.
Walmart doesn't
have anything to do with
your
it.
Business
No, it doesn't.
If Walmart wanted to occupy your business, they could, but they allow you to get a breadcrumb within the industry because you're not a threat. So they have everything to do with your business. You're only able to occupy your business. It's not just you.
What about the biggest? Let's just talk about my lawn care landscaping company. The biggest lawn care landscaping company in the world is Brightview. What about them? They make billions of dollars. What about them? Is Walmart allowing them to occupy them?
They're allowing you to occupy that land.
So check this out. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try this one more time. What do you have to say about the prompt? The prompt. The 60-hour-a-week prompt.
To circle back to the prompt, right? Majority of these companies are worth billions and they don't
Oh
pay
my
their fair
God.
share into state taxes.
Oh my God.
So 60 hours a work week is not normal. It's not normal anywhere on the earth other than the US, other saying the premise that you should do 60 hours a week to work to attain a mass of money to pay for a skill set.
80% of the
It's
country
not
lives
normal
paycheck.
and it's
80%
not
of the
okay.
country lives paycheck to paycheck. If you're not telling them to work 60 hours a week, what's your proposal in order to get them where they need to be so that they can retire?
In China, does somebody that owns a noodle shop
I'm
have
not
to work
talking
60
about
hours plus
fucking
a week?
China. The person in China
We're
owns
competing
shit.
with China. We're
They
competing
don't own
with India.
anything.
We're competing with the global mass.
Look,
That's
man.
what our premise
Look,
is built off of.
we got one more time. What is your proposal for the people that are living within this country to be where they need to be in order to retire? If not, for them to go and get better skills so that they can actually make the amount of money to retire. What is your proposal for that?
All right, I got you. I hear you. You don't have to talk to me like I'm stupid. My proposal is for them to fight and unionize and fight these conglomerate corporates that's not paying them.
They've been doing that for decades, and it's
enough
still
money.
bad.
What, for unionizing? No.
Yes.
No, unions aren't everything. They aren't the end all be all, but it's a start. There's unions for tenant unions. There's unions for workers. That's what I would say for people that work and they don't get their fair share. To go off of your argument, I would say they should fight and unionize, and they should vote, and they should pass the vote and get unionized in order to be given their fair share.
You know, I think the argument about unions is very interesting because you were just having an entire conversation about about paying your fair share in taxes. Unions are tax exempt. They don't pay any taxes. But you don't seem to have a problem with them though because they're giving you something that you want. But so is Walmart. Walmart's giving you food, clothes, drinks, electronics, medication. They have a pharmacy
Unions
in there.
are tax exempt in what way, sir?
Oh my lord! Because they're 501(c)s. They're nonprofit organizations. So that means they're exempt from federal income tax.
Are you telling me union workers don't get taxed, or are you saying the union subsidy, the main conglomerate, don't get taxed?
Oh Jesus, brother! Teamsters is a 501(c). Period. They are tax exempt. They don't pay income tax. Do you have a problem with that? Do you have a problem with them not paying income tax?
Teamsters, as in the union conglomerate, don't pay because they're doing a service towards the community, but the union workers do pay the tax. So what you're saying is because it's 50-50.
No, it's just it's hypocritical to me.
No, it's not. The conglomerate overall doesn't pay tax, but the union workers do pay tax.
All right, man.
So they are paying taxes.
Yeah, Walmart pays taxes, and the people that work for Walmart also pay taxes, from the C-suite to the fucking guy that mops the floors. Same shit.
And they also don't pay their workers enough, and that's why majority of Walmart workers are on Medicare and Medicaid. Okay. But that doesn't happen from Teamsters, and that's why you haven't aroused that argument.
Well, you don't work for Teamsters. You're just underneath that union umbrella.
You work for Teamsters, sir.
Okay. Whose name's on the paycheck? Teamsters or the company?
It depends on if they outsource or not. If they're not outsourced, they work.
Let's talk about UPS. Let's talk about UPS. UPS is Teamsters. Is the paycheck that you get from UPS or is it from Teamsters?
It's from UPS.
So they work for UPS, not Teamsters.
It depends on what role that you play. So if you are a worker for UPS, then you're part of Teamsters. But if you're a shop steward, you know what I mean, or a delegate or something like that, then normally those people get paid directly from the union. So it depends on what facility that you're talking about. There's nuances in everything, sir.
All right. So...
And the reason why UPS works so well as a logistic company is because they pay their fair share. You notice there's less hiccups within UPS than it is during the United Postal Service.
I can kind of see that you don't hold the same standard for everybody, man. I don't really see what it has to do with people working 60 hours a week versus 40 hours a week. You say 40 hours a week is more than enough.
Hold to the same standard?
You say 40 hours a week is more than enough, but people are still living paycheck to paycheck, working 40 hours a week or less. So what
And
I'm
that's due to
proposing
companies not paying
that they
their fair
do,
share.
they're paying them what they agreed to be paid when they came in to get the job. Period. If they want more money, then
Just
they can
because
go
I
and get.
hold leverage over you doesn't mean I hold the fair share. Just
If that's
like
the
going
mentality that you
to
have, then it's totally fine. But I mean, if you want to get paid more money, then you need to get skills that the marketplace finds valuable so you can make more money.
You say that as a person that owns an independent business, a small business that have never fought for rights. Meanwhile, there's the little guy, the people that work for you, they have fought, as in like the fight for 15. They have fought for rights. So I don't know who are you to say that because you
I'm
hop
just
into
telling
the
you I'm
system.
telling you the stats, brother.
You
I used to
hop
be a
into the
worker. I used
system
to be a worker
without.
just like they were. I'm no different from them.
No, you are different from them because you hop into the system and you have never fought the system and you have never retained rights. Why are you, as a
Because
small
fighting the
business owner,
system.
how come you don't have rights?
Because what do you mean? I have rights. What are you talking about?
You don't have the same rights as a conglomerate as in Walmart. If
Well,
Walmart
that's
wants to
because I'm
take
not a
over a
conglomerate like
construction loan
Walmart.
business, anything like that, you have no say so over that.
I have plenty of options that I could do if that were the case. I could go into a different
You
business.
have
I
no
could
say
decide
so
to
over
do.
that. Do you?
I could go
Okay,
into a different
so
business. I can make different decisions. I could continue to run my company knowing that the people within the United States would rather shop with small businesses than shop with larger corporations as well. There's a whole bunch of things that I can do. A whole bunch of stuff I can do. I don't
okay,
sit around and
so
just fucking complain about shit, man. Like it's not really getting you guys anywhere. What's a better ROI? What's the average amount of time that it takes for somebody to form a union and get paid what they want to be paid versus them getting the skills that the marketplace finds valuable so they can make the amount of money that they want to make in the first place?
So to take that same mentality that you have, right? Is it better to fight for your own freedom or just work within the system that you're in?
I think that's freedom, brother. I think you could do both, but I think when we're talking about the ROI on waiting for a company or waiting for the government to give me more money versus me going out and earning it for myself, one is significantly faster than the other. What has the government showed you over the span of your lifetime? What have they showed you so that for you to bank your future on waiting for them to make your life better for you? What have they showed you that you believe that that's going to happen in your lifetime?
Okay, so I like how you frame that question. And I believe that is appropriate question. But instead of waiting, right? Because waiting is the wrong thing to do in either sector, whether it's union or non-union, right? But you only get what you fight for, right? So you only get what you fight for. So why instead of waiting, we don't fight for rights? Because if it wasn't for a 40-hour work week,
If you fight
it
for rights,
wasn't
you're
for
waiting,
people.
are you not? Because you're waiting for the people that you're fighting to come to the table and agree to your terms.
No, do you understand? I don't think you understand how a union works. So a union works off of three fronts of power, and it's not just waiting. Do you know what the three fronts of power of any union is?
No, please tell me.
Okay, so it's the worker power, right? So that's enforcing your contracts or whatever within the building, right? That's community power, right? As far as different municipalities, you can start at churches, you can start at gyms, anything that comes with a mass of people, just community power, right? And then the third power is lobbying, right? Which is like if you look at the NLRB or if you look at APAC or anything like that, paying PAC and then forcing these local or further municipalities to do your bidding, right? So those are the three things that you get. So those are the things
So
that you need
you so
in
you
order
would
to fight for
rather
unionizing.
yeah, you would rather somebody fight for a union within their workplace than them go out and get the skills that they need in order to make the money so they can be able to retire. You would rather them do one over the other.
It depends on what the workplace is. Unions are only necessary when the boss don't do the right things, right? So if the boss isn't
It doesn't matter if
treating
the
people
boss is doing the
correctly,
right things or not.
no,
They
it
can
does
unionize
matter.
either way. It has nothing to do with whether the boss is doing the
But
right
it does
things.
matter though. So if the boss is treating everybody correctly, right? Because you employ how many people? I don't know.
10.
So you employ 10 people. So that's 10 more than myself, right? So as a union guy, right? If you employ 10 people, I'm pretty sure you know all 10 guys' names, you know their backstory, you know their family. I assume that you know majority of these things, right? So me as a union guy, I don't think it's necessary to unionize your company because you only have 10 people. right? But if you have 500 employees, that is greatly different. You only need unions for when the boss don't do correct things. Unionizing is for
What is not the correct things?
Not paying the appropriate wage.
What
not
is the
paying
appropriate
vacation
wage?
Times. It depends on the state.
Don't say it depends. Be specific. What is the appropriate wage on average?
The right earning capacity in Alabama is way different than the right earning capacity in New York or California, which I know you are, which I know you know.
Man, listen.
So don't be facetious with the question.
Nobody was being facetious. What is? I'm telling you. I'm asking you. What is the appropriate wage? Because we negotiated your wage when I hired you. So what has changed?
What has changed is the allegiance between the company and the worker, which I will circle back to my premise with Nintendo, Honda, Samsung, which is the reason why they're able to get the same consistent product from their workers, because they have generations of workers going towards that company, because that company is paying for housing, that company is paying for education, and that company is paying for entertainment.
We're going to bring some other people into the conversation, man. Marcus, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How old are you, and what do you do for a living?
I am 31. I am in telecom sales.
All right. What do you have to say?
I was going to interject right there real quick. When he's like bringing up Nintendo or like any Japanese company, it's the exact opposite of what he would want. Their culture is completely different. They have mandatory unpaid overtime, working holidays, weekends. There's some instances where you have to pay them if you miss a day. You get docked in pay. Asian cultures have completely different perspective about work, and bringing them up is just counterintuitive.
My question for him is, my question for you, Keith. Generally, just a general question. I don't answer it if you can. I don't. But let's say a workers unionize and they want paid vacation time, but the company's not able to afford that. What then?
Then it wouldn't be allowed. That's why it's called a CBA. It's a collective bargaining agreement.
All right. Let's say that the workers. Let's say the workers want $25 an hour. Let's say they make 15 now. They want to make 25, but the company can't afford to pay them more than $18 an hour. What then?
Then it wouldn't be allowed, because again, to piggyback, that's why it's called a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement. You can't do more. A union is symbiotic with the company, so you can't do more than what the company can do. That's why it's called collective bargaining.
Again, so you're a solution to people that are living paycheck to paycheck. You're a solution to people that don't have enough money to retire, that aren't earning enough within their jobs because they don't have the skills required to earn the amount of money that they want to earn. Your solution is for them to fight for a union.
What if the company could pay for you getting the skills?
Okay, what if the company could pay for you getting the skills?
Yeah,
that's why companies have tuition reimbursement and tuition assistance. But I mean,
it doesn't originally happen, though, right?
And I don't care how it originally happened. That's not the point of the conversation.
It is, though, because
it's not. I'm not trying to get a history of workers' rights from you, Keith.
And that happened because of unions.
Keith, I'm not trying to get a fucking history lesson on workers' rights from you. I'm trying to get you to understand that the ROI on somebody going out and earning the skills necessary to make the amount of money that they need to make to retire is higher, and it's going to happen quicker than them trying to form a union within their workplace. If you have to form a union within your workplace,
you're making two different arguments, because if
not making two different arguments. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
If a company is paying for a skill set, right, for you to retain, right, within that contract they have, if you pass, they pay, and you have to retain them for X amount of years. So there's two different conversations that you're having at the same time.
Okay, man. Again, your solution is for them to organize and get a union. My solution is for them to go out and earn the skills that they need in order to earn the money they want to make.
That's not my solution.
What is your solution? I've been asking you for 30 fucking minutes, man.
And I've answered you several fucking times. if a company has a multiple of employees, right? If they're not paying their fair share, then they should unionize. But if a company is paying their fair share,
A
you
fair
ask me to
share is
unionize, what
different
is
for
a fair
each
share?
individual person, and
And
you
I've
know
said
that.
I've said this. I've
So
said this
that's
already,
not
and
going to work.
and
It's not going to work, Keith.
Going back to
It's
this
not going to work.
example, I said you have 10 employees. That's not worth unionizing. I've said both things, sir.
It
but
doesn't
you
matter,
try to
man.
paint
My
me
10 employees could
in a
try to
different light.
unionize. My 10 employees could try to unionize whenever they wanted to. It doesn't matter if I have 10 employees or
Because
not.
they're only 10 employees. You should know all their needs and services for 10 employees. They wouldn't
Man,
need a union.
It's like in one ear and out the other. They could go and unionize whenever they wanted to. It doesn't matter how many I have. You were saying that if the boss isn't treating them properly, that
That is
they
what
could
unions are for.
unionize. But I asked you, what is the boss not treating them properly? You said not paying them their fair share. I asked you what the fair share
not
was.
paying them their fair share, not giving them vacation, not giving them sick time, not giving them their workers' rights. It's a multiple of things. It's not only one or two nuances.
All right, man. Marcus, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I think you're making a good point. I still disagree with you, but when it comes to like the way that Keith is trying to form his argument, he's relying on a bunch of other people to do something as well, right? What you're saying
that's my entire point. Thank you, thank you.
So
you're relying on people that don't have a history of doing the thing that you want them to do.
But not only that, even if you were in a 10 employee workspace, you're relying on 9 other people to unionize with you, right? But you can't rely on 9 other people or 1,000 other people or an entire country's economy to unionize with you. I get exactly what you're saying. When you're making the argument, when you are trying to give somebody advice, you're acting like if you're talking to your nephew or your child, saying this is what you have to do. Not in a perfect world, if thousands of other people got together with you and did this, right? You're saying you yourself go out and do this. But I disagree with 60 hours being an ideal amount of time to work. As soon as you start talking about having children and missing, sporting
Fuck
events,
that, man. Y'all love to talk about children, dude. Y'all love that shit.
Well,
You loved it.
I have 4 kids.
Okay, that's great, man. That's great. Don't you think before you have 4 children, you should probably be making enough money to take care of the motherfucker? Come on now. We got to be able to have some responsibility under it and some accountability.
Well, yeah, so who said I wasn't taking care of them?
I'm not talking about you, dude. I don't know you. I have no idea. I don't know you. I don't know your wife. I don't know your children. You're probably taking care of them just fine. But making the excuse that somebody can't go out there and work their ass off because they're not spending the time that they need to spend with their kids. People back in the fucking day were spending less time with their kids than the people today are spending with their children. They turned out just fucking fine.
And we had enough people.
No, you're misunderstanding my point. I'm saying you can take care of your children without working 60 hours.
But, oh, shit. I'm talking about, listen. I really want you guys to understand what I'm saying. If you have 2 children, you're making $15 an hour. Can you take care of 2 children and a wife on $15 an hour?
No, but I wouldn't sell my time.
So you wouldn't. So you can't take care of 2 children and a wife on $15 an hour. So okay, you're making
these jobs overseas?
Please be quiet because they can't hear what I'm saying. If you're making $15 an hour, you can't take care of 2 children and a wife on $15 an hour comfortably. Not in a manner that your wife would approve of. Your wife would say, "Hey, you need to make more money." Okay, so in order for me to make more money, I'm gonna have to get better skills in order to do that. So in order for me to get better skills, I'm gonna need the money to be able to pay to get those better skills. So I need to go and get a part-time job for a little bit, working 20 hours a week, save that money, use that money to get better skills, and then when I get the better skills and I get the job that I want, then I can take care. Then when I'm working that job, making $60,000 a year, now I'm making $60,000 a year, working 40 hours a week. Now I can spend that time. Now I can spend the time with my children that I want to spend with my children.
I think you're making broad assumptions with some of these numbers. Like, for instance,
what broad assumption am I making?
No, so I'm a high school dropout, and I make $175K a year.
That's great.
I'm saying that you are pigeonholing people and saying they have to do this or they have to pay to develop skills, right? You're making all of these assumptions that there's one linear path.
No, there's not one linear path. I don't think you've listened to me long enough if you think that. How long have you listened to this show?
Well, I've been in here for an hour.
This is your first time in here?
Yeah.
Oh, then that makes sense. Absolutely. So, listen, this is my framework. For the people that are making $15 to $20 an hour, I want them to go and get a part-time job working 20 hours a week so that they can use that money, because most people live in paycheck to paycheck, 80% of the population. So I want them to use the money that they get from working those extra 20 hours a week on online certifications. If they want to get into something like tech, those are going to pay, 50, 60 starting out, and you can get higher as you go along there, right? So I want them to use that money in order to get the online certifications needed to get those positions. If you don't want to go into tech, there's always the trades. You could always go to trade school and learn whatever trade you want to do. HVAC, plumbing, welding, being a mechanic, ASE certified, whatever you wanted to do. If you don't want to do that, the military is always open as an option for most people. And then if you don't want to go into the if you don't want to go into the military, you can't get into the military, then you could always start your own business as well and try to work on doing that. What's the problem with that?
I'm surprised that you didn't mention sales, because sales is
Oh dude, don't do this. Are you a sales guy?
I am.
Then you know a lot of these motherfuckers suck at sales. They can't even talk to people.
Okay.
They don't even know how to talk to people.
Okay, hold on though. But if you're even recommending entrepreneurship to anyone, you have to understand that is sales.
It is sales, right? Correct. And a lot of people are they're not gonna be able. They don't have the soft skills.
Entrepreneurship without also recommending sales.
Well, no. I'm not saying they can't get into sales, but that there's sales courses out there that people can go to that they can learn how to be better in sales. There's courses that like AT&T pays for people to go in and learn more about sales and learn more about people, because that's really what it's all about. It's about people and understanding the product that you're selling. But like I was one of the top salesmen in my market when I worked for one of the top storage facilities in the world. Okay, I was one of the best salesmen in my market. They would send me to other states in order to teach people how I sold things so much and so efficiently. Right? There are some people, they don't learn very well, especially when somebody younger than them is telling them what they need to do. They have a pride issue. Sales is cool. I'm not saying that sales is bad. People make a lot of money in sales. But what I'm trying to get people, what I'm trying to get people into more is the online certifications that they can use in order to get jobs in cybersecurity, full stack development, coding, IT, help desk, stuff like that. Logistics, project management, things they put on a resume that, tell people, hey, I know how to do this. It's not one linear path. I don't believe that. But it is a path. There's multiple paths. Mentioned
aren't going to work 60 hours as well.
Say what now?
I said a lot of those jobs that you just mentioned won't work 60 hours as well.
Correct. The goal isn't to work 60 hours forever. It's to work 60
absolutely.
Hours until you can get the job that you need in order to put money away for retirement.
I hear you. You make a lot more sense now, because I was under the assumption you were saying in order to have a comfortable life, you need to work 60 hours, point blank, period.
No.
Maybe if you're very, very early on starting in the workforce.
That's who I'm talking to.
Okay. Well, because
and even if you're not early on, if you're making it within that bracket of pay, like $15 to $20 an hour, less than $15 an hour, like I'm talking to you. It doesn't matter if you're 13. It doesn't matter if you're 23 or 40. I'm talking to you, because we have people that within these positions.
Doesn't make sense.
Okay, we have people within those positions in the workplace that have been there for too long. And I think if you're there longer than 3 years, you're in what I call you're in the fucking red zone. You're in the danger zone. Okay, hey man, you've been here too long. What are you doing in order to get out of here?
I would agree.
Once you reach past 5, now I think you're lazy. So that's I know that's a stiff turn, but if you're at that job for 5 years, if you're at that job for 5 years or you're not doing anything in order to progress and make more money, you're behind the power curve when it comes to retirement. And a lot of people don't even know how much they need to retire, bro, which is also a fucking problem. But I'm not even getting into that. I don't think that there's anything bad with me telling people to work 60 hours a week, especially if they're not making the amount of money they need to be making in order to retire.
I think if you're making under $15, $20 an hour, you should call the nearest 100 different individual privately owned insurance companies and tell them that you'll work for them 1099. Honestly, because like recommending people try to work more at under $15 or $20 an hour, like I would just never sell my time for that. I would not recommend people sell their time for that.
You're a different person though, brother. You're different.
I understand.
You're not.
If you're working 60 hours a week, how many people are you making? Because the government needs people. We have been at
how many people are you making?
Yeah.
Ask your question again.
Yes. Yes, because you like short answers. So we have been in a population decline for over 30 years, and that's not a coincidence due to the money that people are making. So if you're working
Well,
60 hours a
we're
week,
not in a population decline.
we're in a population decline.
Just because we don't have replacement level of birth rates doesn't mean that we're not in population decline, because we have so much immigration that it makes up for it. But
That's
what
the
I'm saying
only
is
thing.
that,
That's the only thing that we have to make up for it. Do you realize because of immigration, right? So I don't want to go a pro or against immigration policy, right? But there's other countries, South Korea, North Korea, Kenya, Japan. They do breeding visas because their populations are lowering,
South
and they
Korea
have
has horrifically low birth rates. You named like
right.
one of the bottom three
That's
in the
exactly what I'm
world.
saying because their population are lowering. They pay people. They call it a breeding visa. You can look it
Yeah, they
up.
have
I
a
think
whole different
Keith.
People
I
to
think
go
you need
over
to
to breed it,
explain.
but we
I
don't
think
do
you need
that
to,
here.
Keith. I think you need to explain to everybody like what you mean by population decline, because I don't
We're in a
think people
we don't
understand what that
have
means
enough
in
people
terms
to
of.
maintain the amount of work needed for our government to
That's what I thought you meant.
optimize functioning.
But we've been growing, bro. We grew from 2023 to 2024. We grew 500,000.
Yeah, because of immigration. I mean, it's fine.
That's exactly why, because of immigration. But we're getting harder immigration, which means
Well, no,
we need
I'm
to make
talking
more
about
people.
natural increase, not immigration. I'm talking about births minus deaths.
Wait. I thought we weren't in replacement level right now.
Well, I mean, between 2023 and
We're not in
2024, we
replacement
added 500,000 people during that period.
We're
Okay.
not in replacement level though.
But I don't. Is that not accounting for immigration? Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that all
No,
these
that's not accounting for immigration. That's natural.
The point is that they're at least seeing the trend that the boomer generation is the largest generation. They're going to die off without us replacing at that level. That's the people's biggest concern. Is not nearly as big of a concern to this specific prompt and how do we get Joe, who makes $15 an hour, packing boxes at Amazon to make more than that, right? To have a life that that has more dignity. Yeah, I totally understand.
Well, do you think? Because but the question he asked is like, if you're working 60 hours, how many people are you adding? But he said that in relation to like population. That's what he meant. So I don't really get what your question is, Keith.
I think Keith struggles.
I'm
with
saying if you're working 60 hours a week, most likely than not, right? You're not repopulating, and we're in a
Oh my
depopulating.
Whoa.
You're not.
There's no way. I did
You're
not
not.
think that's where he was gonna go. I really didn't think that's where he was gonna go.
You're not. If
You
you're
shouldn't
working
be.
60 hours a
You
week-
shouldn't be. You don't
Okay,
have
you're
enough
saying you
money to
shouldn't
take
be.
care of the
But
kids.
if you're working but this is the reason why we have a depopulation going on in the country because we don't have a work-life balance.
Oh my lord!
If you look at other
dude.
countries,
Holy shit! This is not
other
where I thought you were
problems,
gonna
right?
go.
They might have corruption. They might have it might be hard to get into an upper value job or whatever. But as far as
man.
population control, they don't have that issue. But that is a work-life balance issue.
Holy
So,
shit!
Keith, just to let you know, economists believe that the largest contributor to the decline in birth rates is the liberation of sexual freedom for women. So before, they had to have children because their husband was impregnating them. Now they get to choose if they want to have kids or not.
How you
Right,
doing?
but that is a claim, and I have seen that claim.
You got
but
more
that's
and more women out here that are saying that they
unquantifiable.
don't. Well, I don't really like kids. I'm like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah,
But whatever.
they
Right,
couldn't
but
say
that
that
claim
50
is
years
not
ago. They would have been
quantifiable, though.
ostracized.
They should be ostracized now. That's just me. That's a personal opinion. It's a personal opinion.
You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
Personal
aside
opinion.
from that, okay, let's look at
Women that
Sweden,
don't
let's
like
look at Poland.
women that
They
don't
go
like
off of
children is weird. That's
No, it's a red flag,
Let's
but like
let's
they
look
still
at
can
the
do
most
them, right?
egalitarian type places that we have. Let's look at Sweden. Let's look at Poland.
oh
Right,
Christ!
which
Why?
they
What are
basically
you doing?
are mini
No,
USs.
we're not doing that. We're not going on another tangent.
Yeah, why are
We're not
Okay.
looking at Sweden.
Can we get back to the 60 hours a week?
Yeah,
Please,
come on.
bro. Please.
Okay, so going back to the 60 hours a
No.
week, if you're working 60 hours, you're
No,
not making
can
a
you mute
family.
Keith?
You don't
I
have
have
a
a
family.
question.
You
No,
can't
but
replace
Keith,
people.
you're not understanding. If you're working 60 hours a week, you don't even have enough money to be able to take care of a family. You're not in a job that is
That's
conducive
exactly
to taking
my
care of
point.
a family.
If you're working 60 hours, you're not making more people, and we have been in a population deficit for 30 years.
Fucking
That's
whoosh.
That
It
comes
didn't-
right back to my point.
You completely discounted what I said. They should not be adding to the population because they are leave the adding to the population to the people that are actually able to take care of these children. I don't want people just having babies just for the sake of repopulation when they can't give these kids the life that they need to have in order to be successful within
China
the world.
didn't do that.
Bro, China was killing babies. We don't want to do what China's doing.
Because they had too many. Right? We don't have enough. And we're going off of what.
So you're totally fine. You're totally cool. You're cool with people. You're cool with people having babies just for the sake of repopulation. You don't care if they're married. You don't care if they have a stable household. You don't care about any of that. Just for the sake of repopulation.
I said none of that.
I'm asking.
None of that.
I'm asking.
I said none of that. In a perfect world, in a utopian world, I would like people to be married, long-term marriages, and all that. But just going off of the numbers that we have right now, right? If you're working 60 hours a week, how many people can you make as support? You said none. So
no, I'm saying you shouldn't be because you should be focusing on getting the career that you need in order to take care of children when you do decide to have them.
Okay, so we church it up a little bit, but essentially you said none. So if people are working 60 hours a week, how many people can you make?
Dude,
Whoa.
Dude, you're conflating two completely different things.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Jason, please.
Okay, so here's my big question. So the host, you say, I am 24 years old. Can I ask, what is your age?
26.
You are 26 years old?
Yes.
Okay, so we were raised around the same time. You're saying that we should work 60 hours a week to, sustain a successful lifestyle, right?
I'm saying you should work 60 hours a week so that if you're, in that bracket of $15 to $20.
To become successful, though.
If you're in that bracket between $15 to $20 an hour, you should be working 60 hours a week so that you can get above the bell curve so that you can have enough money to retire by getting the career you want.
So you're around my age. Yeah, you're around my age. So have you seen, though, that most people that are actually retired right now around our age are not working 60 hours a week at all?
Retired in your 20s?
What is retired?
No.
What does retirement mean in the sense that you're talking about? You're saying retired as in they don't have to work, correct?
They do not have to work.
Okay.
Alex Eubanks, Sam Sulik. These are huge social media role
you need to be
models.
de-influenced, all right, brother?
No,
because
not influenced.
That's not the real world.
This
You need
is
to be
no
de-influenced.
excuses podcast.
We're talking
This is
about
no
regular
excuses
people.
podcast. This is no excuses podcast, damn it. All right? You're making excuses right now.
You need to be
saying
de-influenced.
it's an
brother.
ideology. You're
If
saying
you
it's
don't
an
have
ideology.
an Instagram post on you in a fake plane cabin,
Marcus,
you
right
are
now
not
I have an
successful.
ileostomy bag. I have 12 different diseases, and I can lift more fucking weights than you in the gym. All right? No excuses right now. All right? No excuses. You work sales, dog. You work sales. You speak out your fucking mouth.
I was also
you literally
in the
do social
infantry
media.
in Afghanistan.
But wait, Jason, come on now. We got to be realistic. Most people that are retiring in their 20s, that is exceedingly rare. It's not normal. It's not normal to do. Everybody's not going to be able to do that.
But you're saying you choose a path whichever way you want to
Correct.
go, right?
Yeah.
That is what you said. There is no linear path.
There's no linear path. No.
You are going back on that statement if you're saying that there aren't a lot of people retiring in their 20s, because I actually have a lot of friends that are retired that are in their 20s.
What do you consider to be a lot?
They have a full house. They make $170K a year, just like Marcus. They work in the union, most of them.
Then they're not retired.
Well, if they're working in the union, then they're not retired, brother.
Yeah. This is.
And then, sorry. The one friend that's fully
not real
retired.
life in your
The one. You said you had a lot. Come on now.
No, listen.
Come on.
The ones that are retired are in their 28s, around there, and have full
28s.
families.
Wow.
Have full families.
Wow.
In their 28s.
28s.
So you're saying if you work 60 hours a week, right? What age would you say is acceptable to retire then?
Well, the goal is to retire by 65. That's my goal is to retire by 65.
Okay, but if you're working 60 hours a week, how are you guaranteed that you will make it to 65 health-wise?
Oh, Jesus. No, don't tell me you have the fatalistic mindset. No way.
Nah, that's
no excuse.
Nah. Don't tell me you have the fatalistic mind. So you're saying why work the 60 hours a week when you might not even live to see retirement?
No. I'm asking you because it's a lot on your body, right? When are you going to sleep when you're working those 60 hours?
You'll have plenty of time to sleep. Why do y'all act like 60 hours is like you're gonna be walking around like a zombie if you're working 60 hours a week?
Have you
are.
done 60 hours a week?
I work about 70, but I worked 60 hours a week when I first started my business. I was working more than 60 hours a week, and I was getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
You only need 4 hours a day, but you pay VA benefits because of it.
Like, I'm looking at the bags underneath your eyes right now. You're 26 years old, so I can tell you don't sleep much, right?
I don't sleep a ton.
So can I ask you, how does your body feel at 26?
It feels so. Check this out. Check this out now. I can still go out here and do it. Look. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good. But the part of the reason why I might not be where I need to be is because of my weight. That's why I'm currently trying to lose weight.
Excuses. This is no excuses.
No,
podcast.
that's just a reason, brother. That's a logical reason of why somebody might be feeling sluggish, just because they're not eating properly.
Oh, okay, eating properly. You changed it up though. First,
you said weight, eating properly.
First, you said weight, but that weight has nothing to do with. I've watched men that have weight. I've watched men that have weight make a lot of money in life.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying,
hours a week.
Look, bro, I'm saying your body will feel better working 60 hours a week if you're at an appropriate weight and you're eating the right things to give you energy throughout the day. That's what I'm saying.
That's cap.
Oh, that's Christ.
That's cap, though.
Oh, Christ.
That's cap, and I've done way more than that. I'm 12 years old. That's cap.
Damn. I don't know what y'all are doing. I'm fine. I've been doing it for years. I'm good.
It's a reason why the VA pay out so much, right? And they're trying to not pay out so much as of right now. That's cap, bro.
But also, can I ask, how was your upbringing? Like, were you in a family that had two parents that made good money, and you were able to chase your goals quicker to get your business started?
Oh, Jesus. No. When my mom first had me, she had me while she was in college. My dad went off to play pro basketball. He didn't really care about me at the time. He cared more about basketball and trying to, be pro in basketball at the time. But my mom worked 3 jobs and went with
the 60-hour work week.
My mom worked 3 jobs and went to college, got her degree, graduated second in her class. Got her engineering degree, and I want to say she was earning about $32,000 to $35,000 first year out of college. We were on food stamps. We were getting money from the government in order for her to take care of me, but she worked her way out of that. Stopped taking that money from the government, and eventually she was able to buy her first house a couple of years ago at like 40.
Okay, and so how did you get your business started? Because
I
obviously
went on the IRS website and got an EIN.
Okay.
Now, my dad has a business. My dad's had a business for 15 years. But
how did you get your startup funding is what I'm asking. Did you work?
I worked 3 jobs.
You worked 3 jobs? Okay, and were they, what jobs were they? Because you were talking earlier.
I did security for the Department of Defense, armed security for the Department of Defense, and I was a manager at Life Storage.
Nice. Okay, so you started with like management and
I didn't start with management. I started as an assistant manager and worked my way up to management.
Okay, so I'm guessing you had credentials then from schooling in the beginning?
I had some college. I had some college. But I mean, okay. I carry myself in a manner that people will look at me and hear me speak, and they're like, we might be able to invest in this guy as far as managerial and leadership positions go. So we're going to put him in this position and see how he does. And then when I get in that position, I outwork everybody because nobody can fucking beat me.
I mean, I definitely respect that a lot. See, I was just coming on here because I come from the side where I got disabled at 22 years old. So I've been disabled for 2 years, and I have been still living off of $1,347 a month each month and by quite successfully throughout my own regards. So that's why I was saying,
do you think you need a whole bunch of money to start a business?
Honestly, no, I don't. I do agree with you.
I guess why was your question about the startup funding? What's the question about the startup funding and stuff like that?
I wanted you to explain how you started up your business so people can understand.
Dude, I was 20. I was 20 years old. I said I wanted this money. I needed to get a truck. I was putting a fucking push mower in the back of an Acura RSX and fucking going out and knocking doors and getting yards that way. That's what I was doing.
See, and that's amazing. That's what I wanted people to hear, because obviously you're talking about working 60 hours a week. Yet Keith and Marcus had not asked you anything about your own business or wanted people to learn.
Well,
about
he's
you.
actually he knows a little thing or two about him. He's been in here multiple times. I love Keith, man. Keith is like Keith. I'm not saying that Keith is an idiot or anything like that. I don't really agree with some of his points because I feel like you're going to get a better ROI working on yourself than you will trying to advocate for somebody else to work for you.
But I was just trying to bring up the point of like, what would you say to people that obviously are in a different route of life that are maybe either disabled, have a disability, or anything like that? How would they get to the 60 hours?
So as far as like disabled people and things of that nature go, like I don't really have anything particularly. I'm gonna hold them to the same standard that I hold everybody else to, because I see people that are disabled every fucking day working their fucking ass. Some of these motherfuckers that don't have legs are working harder than some of you guys are.
That is true.
Hey, can I ask you a few questions, Jason? Is it physical disabilities?
I have no large intestine. I have stress-induced seizures. I have.
Hey, Jason, are you single?
Am I single? No, I have a girlfriend.
So you're single? Okay, all right.
Yeah, you're single.
Put a ring on that shit.
No. So I had 4 seizures in like the past 6 months. So I'm just taking it slow. I came in here because I was just wanting to talk about the 60 hours a week and how
and I was going to give real advice
on health, because obviously I'm in the medical field quite often. So I know that 60 hours a week for people our age that are like 20 around that age, by the age of 40, our bodies are going to feel like 60.
Oh, fuck.
So hey, honestly, Jason,
look, how about look? Don't tell me what I'm gonna feel. Don't tell me what I'm gonna. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel. We're gonna feel very good. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel.
You just asked him like what would you do if you were disabled or something to that effect, which gets back to like my earlier advice. There are hundreds of insurance companies around you that these insurance agents are trying to build their brokerage. And a zero risk employee for them is a 1099 employee that's going to sit at his home and dial calls, right? What you can do is you can make it your job. You're disabled right now. You can make it your job. Tomorrow's Monday, 9 to 5, 40 hours, 9 to 5. You are calling every insurance agent, brokerage in your area, every Kelly with State Farm, down the street. And you're saying, hey, let me work for you 1099. Right, and that means that any insurance deal that you get for them or any lead that you get for them, they'll send you a small amount of payment, right? And you are not working hourly. You're not working $15 an hour. You are working as efficiently for money as you possibly can. You're betting on yourself. It's the closest thing you can get right now, early stage to sales or entrepreneurship.
Okay, so when you got into sales, because you're telling me to like get into calling those places and doing the 1099.
I'm just saying it's zero risk for them because they don't pay you unless if you brought them money.
So, the host brought up a perfect point earlier. What if you're not very sociable, right? And
dude.
You can't.
It's like an introvert type person.
Yeah, like an introvert.
It's gonna be significantly harder for you. You got to work out of that shit. It is not monetarily conducive to be an introvert nowadays at all.
So life is going to be hard. If that's the case, and if you're also physically disabled, life is going to be very hard, right? Because you're eliminating 2 of the easiest paths to generating income. My next piece of advice would be to drive. Historically, over the last 70 years, the #1 way for high school diploma educated males is to drive for a living. Whether you're driving a box truck, a semi truck, or delivery food, drive for a living, because you're starting, like, honestly, that doesn't sound like a great, Ubering, right? That's not the most creative way to make money. But when you're telling me that you're an introvert and you're physically disabled, that would be my next piece of advice.
Well, like, I'm not an introvert myself. I'm gonna be honest. I have 19.7K followers on TikTok. I actually, this is my job, social media. I do social media for a career. It is what I put my time into. But that's why, when you say like work 60 hours a week, why I came in here is because I've never had to work 60 hours a week. And I've always made like 3K monthly just by hustling and doing side jobs and obviously working around my my health.
It's fantastic to me that is enough money for you to live on. But I personally consume just maintenance, right, for my daily life. I consume 3 times that every month.
Wow, that's because you have the 4 children, though, right?
Right, absolutely. You're 100% correct. But once you have a mortgage and everything else, you will have far more, bills, responsibilities. $3K a month would, it would put my children in foster care. So I'm just letting you know that might be working for you right now, and it's great. But for every successful social media star, right, every YouTuber, there's thousands that have failed. And if I'm recommending to somebody, like I said at the beginning, like the prompt, my nephew or my son, right, and what to do to be successful, I would not tell them put all chips on black, right? I would not tell them to
nah, put it all on black. Put it all on black.
I agree with that.
Because that's a huge gamble. Trying to become a social media star is a huge gamble.
I wouldn't say it's a gamble, because the host brought up
Thousands.
a perfect point. No excuses. If you go towards something and you put your heart towards it and you put your money and your goals towards it, you'll build something. He's 26 and
Do you understand
It
probability?
should be a secondary income, not primary.
Yeah, it's a huge gamble because of the probability of it being a successful venture is very low.
That is true, but obviously you have to make it to be successful, you also have to have faith in yourself and your ability.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like,
I'm not saying that that's not the case, but if you said
on sales, though, you would not be providing for your 4 kids right now, and you wouldn't be where you are in life right now. But you
everything in life is sales. Everything is. For an instance, I mean, just for you personally, you selling your brand to viewers is sales. Everything in life is sales. If you can't do sales, you're going to have a hard time. It's not saying that you can't. You can be a physical laborer or maybe a very skilled tradesman that works in a union. But, having your own business where you're a carpenter, like you make cabinets for somebody, you got to sell them to the homeowner. You got to have sales skills.
Yes, that is true. You have to have like a basic level, at least, of sales.
Being able to market yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that is a big thing. I do agree with that. I was just saying, like, because you made it very successful to having 175K a year and being able to sell.
Yeah, but I would say you could be halfway decent. You could be average at sales and still make 75K.
But I would say, like, what if you weren't, obviously the most extroverted person, and you're
I'm not super extroverted. I just know that this is a profitable venture, so I put my time into it.
Okay, so what would you say to someone that obviously is choosing a less profitable adventure?
It's not less profitable. I mean, less likely, less probable. I would say that it's a big gamble. I wouldn't put all my chips on black, right? I'd put some chips on it. I'd do that in the evenings, but 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I would be trying to find other ways of, diversifying my income streams, because of the possibility of social media never working out for you is high. It's not that it's 100% that it won't work out for you. It's just high.
I'm not just talking social media. I'm talking everything in life right now, right?
Hey man, who made an account called Brown Motherfucker in a pink hat on the YouTube channel, bro? What's going on, man? What the fuck is that?
Add him.
But back to the topic. So my thing is, I'm not just talking about social media, right? I'm talking about like all careers. If you're choosing a lower inside career, but you still want to make it successful, you're saying like you should work a different job, right? But then you're not getting as much information and knowledge as you need in the one career that you truly
do you understand what
well, so, but I mean, you need, like, if somebody wanted to get certifications in order to get into cybersecurity, they're gonna have to go and take the test, and the test costs some money. So that's why if they're living paycheck to paycheck, working their normal job, then they're not gonna have the funds to go out and spend money on those certifications. That's why I say work the extra 20 hours for the time you need to in order to get those certifications and get a job in that field.
Well, in that case, you would usually have like a friend or something, or like maybe someone close to you that you could ask to get that money to, while you're working.
No,
listen. Listen.
You can't rely on other people.
No, not relying on them. Not relying on them. You're not relying.
Look, bro. Look, I got a friend. His name's Caleb. That motherfucker ain't giving no money to nobody. Like,
I'm saying, has anyone in your life ever gave you a loan though to get into a good position.
Never.
Not grandma.
Nah, that don't happen like
not
that. Dude.
grandma.
I've never had
like-
I've never had a grandparent.
I don't, but I don't like.
That
I have
doesn't happen
cousins.
like that.
I have cousins that like don't mind asking my grandparents for money, like their dads some money and stuff like that. I don't. My grandparents have already put in the work in order to be retired and live the life that they live. I don't feel good asking them for money personally.
Well,
So
no,
I
I'm
don't.
talking about
That's
young
just me.
youth, though. We're not talking about like older life, right? I'm talking about when you're young.
Man, they're asking them for money in their 20s. Like I don't. They've already done what they needed to do, man. Like I don't need to be asking them for money.
Most of the kids in my life that are like 20s and stuff like that have like families that help them get like out of that 9 to 5 where they're
You're living
Hey,
a
that's
different
the
life,
minority.
man. That's some
That's
fucking
the
minority.
Yeah,
People are not giving.
A lot of us never had that
I was
option.
born in Missouri. I'm from a town that only has like 3,000 people, so
Hey,
we're just very
I
tight.
hear you.
Hey, that's a show me state, ain't it?
I'm
Hey,
not
welcome to
in
freedom.
St. Louis, so sadly, not very much show me state in my area.
Hey, look, I had to join the army. Like we were straight out of options. I'm just telling you, there was no money for college. There was no way I was signing up for, student loans at outrageous rates. Right? That we just didn't have options.
Like the
Nobody was
live,
giving
man.
us
Tap
money.
the screen. Like the live. We only got
Nobody was
2K
giving us any
2K
money,
likes. We need
Jason,
more than
and
that.
And that's the reality of life. If you know people that their family just gives them money, that's the minority. That you don't realize how crazy that is. There's so many people whose parents, like the host was saying, 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Where would the parents come up with the money to give their kids? Right? If they're already paycheck to paycheck, you're already talking
And I
about,
actually, like, at this point now, I can ask my parents for money. See, I could probably ask my mom or my dad for money, right? And they wouldn't have much of a problem, okay? They wouldn't have a problem with it. It wouldn't be that big of a deal, but that's only because I haven't asked them for money my whole life. So when I do ask them for money, and I'm like, hey, look, I need $5,000 so that I can put a down payment down in order to buy this property that I want to buy. I'm going to give you your money back and some on interest. And we'd have a conversation about it. And my parents are the type of people I need to come with I need to have my plan ready to fucking go. If I don't have everything ready to go, my mom's going to be like, boy, get out of my face. And my dad's going to be like, son, I love you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
You ain't got it ready yet, so no.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Obviously, you'd have to have a plan and everything before you asked, a family member that obviously trusted you. And you'd have to pay them back.
And trust only goes so far, man. Like you can't pay nobody back with trust. You need to have some money coming in.
So you would have to.
Most people do not have people that can lend them $5,000.
They just
Most
don't.
people don't.
They just
Most people in the United States do not have $500 if their washing machine broke.
No, my mother does not. My mother does not. My family is divorced, so I come from a family where like I've been working to sustain myself since 18 years old. My mom kicked me out of my house.
Thank y'all for liking the live, man. I appreciate that.
To learn how to live on my own. I have never gotten loans and stuff like that. I was saying though, in the case that we are working 9 to 5 and you had a good family and stuff like that, you could ask for help to get into that better position. Like,
hold on, bro. So you're the type of person where your parents aren't just gonna give you money, but you're pitching that idea to other people.
Well,
yeah,
come on, man.
I don't think you
they have a
realize how many
successful
people
family?
dream of having a 9 to 5. The prompt is about working 50% more than that, right? There's so many people out there that dream of having a 9 to 5 that gives them a comfortable job, and you're making it sound like it's a terrible thing.
Well, I'm not
I think
saying
you need to
9
be
5s are
de-influenced a
terrible.
little bit.
I'm not saying 9 to 5s are terrible, but I've also worked 9 to 5s my whole life at like Taco Bell, Walmart, these big corporations. Before I got disabled, of course.
Keep in mind, your whole adult life is 4 years before you got disabled.
Hey man, all y'all people
I've
in
been
the social
working
correction
since I was
chamber
16.
that are in the YouTube chat, y'all need to chill out, bro.
I've been working since I was 16, and I was also bleeding out my ass, Marcus, and I also was going through surgeries during that time as well because of Crohn's disease.
All right, ew.
So just gonna throw that out there. Just gonna throw that out there, Marcus.
I threw out that you said my whole life when you're talking about a 4-year time span. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying it's for context. When you say my whole life, right? It's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things. Can you tell me what profession is the number one profession for millionaires in the United States?
For millionaires, 100%. It'd be sales, marketing.
Nope.
100%.
Nope. Try again.
Business.
Nope.
I would probably say number one profession for millionaires in the maybe some type of engineer.
That's number 3. That's not. Hey, you're right there.
Accountants.
That's number 2. Shit.
Fuck.
All right.
Oh, lawyers.
Say divorce.
That's number 4. Damn, dude, you're fucking killing it.
Real estate.
Divorce
Nope.
says.
School teacher.
A teacher.
School teacher. You know why?
Oh well, yeah. When they retire, they got it. Yeah.
No. They worked 40 years in the same job, never missed a paycheck. It adds up. It adds up. When people are talking about retiring in their 20s, they're talking about a new age fantasy that's been sold to them on social media, right? This is not how people retire. People do not retire in their 20s. People make paychecks and they put 10, 15% away in savings. And over a long period of time, they become very wealthy. What will kill you in your ability to make money and to stack wealth is going without paychecks. If you go a year without working, 6 months without working, you are so far behind somebody who worked for 6 months.
Yeah. So
yeah, these school teachers make 50 grand a year, but I'm telling you that they got $1 million.
How long have you worked in your career though, Mark?
hold on, because we can't get into that. We got to get back on the topic. But yeah. So the front end.
Just say Mars, cool.
All right, bro. How old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 20 right now. I'm finna listen to the military, but I've had my own successful business since I was 15.
All right.
So that's why I was looking at it from like a little different perspective, because I guess I just view the world a little bit differently. But I made like over 20,000 on my own, and I didn't have no money when I started it up. But I used social media to like basically leverage the viewers and make sales, and so now I just understand that anyone could do that. That's why I don't believe that you have to work to retire or be 60 or really any
well,
age.
most people work to be able to retire, man. DJ,
I'm gonna hop out though. Thank you guys.
hey, have a good one, man.
Thank you, Marcus. You have a good one.
DJ, can you hear me? How old are you? What do you do for a living, man?
I'm 53 and I'm a storekeeper at a hospital.
Okay.
And I work 60 hours a week. I work at Amazon part-time.
Oh, look at that. In your 50s?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's easy. It's not that hard.
I wonder why like this JP guy says I'm brainwashed, but I'm literally, it's a reality, bro.
Hey man, look, don't look at the chat, bro, because you're gonna get mad if you look at the chat.
I'm not saying, look, this is what I'm telling people, bro. Like, it's like I understand that you still need money to keep scaling, but if you can make a lot of money from not having any money, you really don't even need social media to make a lot of money, but it just helps out. I don't care. Like, no matter where I go, I can always sell clothes because I always have clothes.
Right.
But social media just helped me get it to more eyes.
And that's the thing, man. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, because there's like we have a lot more access and a lot more opportunities to make money nowadays than people in generations past did. So the fact that there are people out there that are working these $15 to $20 an hour jobs for 5+ years at a time I just feel like it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And when I call them lazy, they get upset. But at the end of the day, it's a lack of effort on your part. So it is lazy.
I mean, that's facts, though. I mean, I used to work, when I was working and all that, like, I was working 12.5-hour shifts 5 days a week. So it's not like I was just sitting at home bullshitting, but, you know what I'm saying, I was working. And then now I understand that I need even more money to fund what I want to do, so that's why I went to the military.
So do you, and that's good, Mars, I appreciate you saying that. DJ, do you, I'm assuming you agree with the prompt, since you're doing it currently.
Yeah, I agree with the prompt. Not at my age, but as far as younger people, so you don't have to be my age working 60 hours a week.
Ain't that something? He's saying exactly what I'm saying.
Real.
Really, for me, it's just extra income. You have to have multiple sources of income. I
Yeah.
do DJ on the side. I'm going to start getting into drone photography, but you have to have multiple sources.
Yeah.
It ain't like it used to be just 40 hours a week, waiting on the government to come to the rescue. Not going to happen.
Somebody in the chat said making less doesn't make you lazy. Corporations are just greedy. If you built a business up to the point that some of these businesses that y'all are working for right now, if you built a business up to that point, you wouldn't consider the money that you took to be greedy. You would consider it you getting what you put into it. Only people that say corporations are greedy are people that haven't ever fucking worked to build something at that scale. So,
Facts.
y'all saying that shit, I'm not really listening to that.
So you should always have a plan, man.
I agree with you when you say that if you're making low income for a long period of time, you're lazy because you have decided that the risk of doing something different is not worth, you know what I mean? I try not to look down on people that make a lot less money than me, but if you're making $15 or $18 an hour and you're just okay with that over a long period of time, you are being lazy. You're not branching out trying to make something, you're not trying to make more. I don't think it's about how many hours you work, but how much you're able to sell your hours for.
Real. I mean, I just think that the United States is literally made for business owners to literally thrive, especially like with tax deductions and it's literally built for us to win. They want us to try and make a business because it's more profitable. It makes the money go around. So it's just like to not even try because you think it's just some illusion or social media belief or it's not obtainable. It's just
so look, somebody else in the chat said that success is in the eye of the beholder, and you can work less if you want a simple life. I agree with that, but if that simple life puts you to the point where you're working at fucking Zaxby's when you're 70 years old, what did you do it for? Your simple life turned into you working for your whole life.
Yeah, but that comes down to how much you save over those 50 years.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't. It's very hard to save towards retirement and have a family if you're making $40,000 a year. That's why I'm pushing people towards the $60,000, $70,000 a year mark.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you would have to have a ridiculously low cost of living.
I don't know. I guess my world is a little different just because I come from like the technology era or whatever. But I literally know people right now like that make hundreds of thousands of dollars like from their phones. They're like younger than me. Like shit is crazy.
Yeah. JP said save money and move to Thailand. This dude trying to get with the lady boys, man. That's crazy.
You got to understand, for every one of those people, there are thousands of people that either have not or are lying about it. And you don't know for certain which of those three camps, right? That person you're talking about is even in.
All right, so let's say 1% of people in the United States are living that life. Why can't you be in that 1%? That's millions of people.
Because that's 1%. Like saying,
you can. The probability is low.
Let me answer. Yeah, he's about to say the probability. So if you have 100 numbers, right, on a roulette wheel, and you're about to roll that ball, right, and all of your life savings, you say, all right, why can't it be number one? Why can't that roulette ball land on number one? Why not? Because there's a 99% chance it won't.
I mean, I think that's a bad example. Just because
it's not. It's not.
You know what I'm saying? Look, if it's 1% of billions of people, that's millions of people that have done it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you? What is stopping you?
Because there's not millions of people. That 1% that you're talking about, there's not millions of people that have gotten to that level of income from nothing. They have 1% parents.
What? I'm gonna jump in. All right, so my name is Josh. I'm 27. I'm currently in insurance tracking. I mean, I ain't making too much doing that, but I agree with the prompt that you should be working more if you want to be successful. But the thing is, though, that I don't really get. Like, okay, I ain't really trying to argue, but back in like the 1980s, you could work 40 hours a week, making 15. Let me finish, making $15 an hour, and you could raise a family, right? To be successful, right? So now you gotta work 60 hours a week. So now 20 years from now, you're gonna be working 80 hours a week. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Josh, but you have to understand that since the implementation of international trade on a grander scale, or all of these jobs that have been shipped overseas, right? We have brought these Chinese people out of mud huts, right, into middle class living, right? And so now you're competing with billions of people. All right, in the 80s, your parents and grandparents were not competing against that many people, right? Post World War II, the United States oversaw a monopoly on worldwide trade, right? That doesn't exist anymore. There's no point in, thinking about it because it doesn't exist anymore, all right? Everyone else in the world can compete with you now. It's not just one country, dominating the world.
So what's the answer? Because working 60 hours a week.
The answer is to
hold on.
develop.
What's wrong with?
Hold on. Because look, I'm working more than 40 hours a week. And again, I agree. If you want more, you got to work more. But what I'm saying is, if we just keep working more, at some point, it's just not going to be sustainable. If you think about the recession back then and the way the economy was in 2008, working more was literally impossible because nobody could have no job.
Josh, here's the
thing. But that lasted for a very short amount of time, though.
You have to develop a plan that increases the amount that your labor is worth when you sell it, right? If you can take any random person, right, into your job and train them how to replace you in a week, your job is not secure.
All right.
And because your job is not secure, they can sell you lower, or they can buy your wage for a lower amount.
All right, so let me say it like this. All right, so you go to school, you work 60 hours a week, right? And then everything goes up. How are you going to be successful if everything
because the
up,
60 hours a week that you're working for is so that you can get into an industry that's going to pay you more in the first place. It's going to pay you 2 times what you were making before.
But there's no guarantee. You know how many people went to school for engineering and they have to go work at Walmart?
Not a lot.
Hold on. Not a lot. But
not a lot. But see, let's talk about that though. Hold on one second, Marcus. Let's talk about that. Part of the reason why they're doing that is because y'all will fucking nerf yourselves. You get this engineering degree and you already have in your mind where you want to work at. And since you're not getting any jobs in your general vicinity, you're just like, well, I got to get a job at Walmart now. In reality, you need to be applying to jobs in all 48 states and taking what you can get at the time. You're nerfing yourself and then complaining. They're not doing that.
No.
You crazy?
Okay. Like I said earlier, your ability to sell yourself, even going to an interview, you are selling yourself. You are marketing yourself as a product. The engineers that can't market themselves as a product are going to get outcompeted in every single one of those interviews. Just going and getting a college degree does not guarantee you a wage. You have to be able to market yourself.
You want to know the only thing that you can go if you're just looking for guarantee. The thing that get the skills that you can get that will guarantee you a job are things in the trades. That's pretty much it. But we know half of the people that get degrees are not getting jobs within their field. But why are they not getting jobs within their field? Because it's not because they're not available. It's because they're nerfing themselves.
But hear me out. So that statistic of the people not getting a job in their field, it's because there's a lot of psychology majors, right, that get a bachelor's in psychology, don't want to become a social worker for $20 an hour, and then they get a job in HR for $30 an hour.
That's
so now your HR lady actually has a psychology degree.
I'm not taking it, boss. That is not true at all. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. When was the last time you went on Glassdoor as a degree?
On Glassdoor? I've never been on
Glassdoor, where people try to find jobs. When was the last time you went on there?
I've never been on Glassdoor to find a job. I've only been recruited. I'm actively recruited every single day through LinkedIn messaging.
Right. So that's you, right?
I would absolutely recommend you use LinkedIn as well. Because LinkedIn too. Okay, so
or
Glassdoor
Indeed.
Or Indeed, right. Indeed, Glassdoor, LinkedIn. When you go on Glassdoor, do you know what they're saying right now?
On Glassdoor.
This is the hardest time it's ever been to get a job. Am I lying?
I'm just letting you know, not everyone shares that experience. Like I said, every single day I have recruiters messaging me.
But bro, that is you. Most like you said before, 80% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So the answer is for everybody to work 60 hours?
Well, but the
How is
answer
that
is for them to
possible?
work. The answer for them is to work 60 hours so they can. It's not forever. It's so that they can get a job in a field that's going to pay them the amount of money they want to make.
Yeah, if it's unskilled labor, probably.
So all those people that have gotten degrees, they're saying they've got all the 4.0 GPAs.
You know, jobs
did
don't care
all
what
the-
your GPA is.
That's not really the point I'm trying to make. The point is they did all the work. They did all the sleepless nights. They missed all the birthdays. They missed all the concerts. They was inside their basement working hard all the time, and they still didn't get the outcome.
You're talking about for a college degree?
What?
You're talking about for a college degree. When you're saying like missing birthdays and stuff, it's making me think like you're talking about their like missing their child's and birthdays and stuff. But you're talking about a college degree, like 18 to 22.
I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. If working harder is the answer, then
No.
why 80%?
The college degree is not.
Oh, see, no, because you're no, because you're conflating it. You're conflating it because I'm not just saying. I'm not saying that hard work is going to get you, and like just working hard is going to get you to the point where you want to be. There's a plethora of other things that you're going to need to do in order to get where you need to be, but working hard in the front end generally will put you in a better position in the back end. So the like 60 hours a week, I would consider that you're working hard, right? But if you did that forever, you're not really going to get a lot to show for it. But if you're working hard on the right things, then you can have a lot to show for it later on in life.
I hear you, and I agree with you. I look. I'm not saying I don't agree with the prompt.
Honestly, bro, I'm just gonna be dead ass with you. I think a lot of these motherfuckers are just lazy in general. They're lazy pieces of shit.
Some people lazy.
Most of them are lazy pieces of shit, bro. Nah, I'll say it today. They're lazy pieces of shit, bro.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna call somebody lazy.
Nah, they're lazy, bro. It's a lack of effort. Fuck it.
No.
I mean, I was working 12-hour weeks, 5 days a week at 19, so I think they are pretty lazy.
I don't think that's lazy. No. I feel like if you have different priorities, if you want to go to your kid's birthday party or you want to make sure your kids is
man, your kids gonna have a birthday party every year. Stop it. Stop. Bro, with the fucking birthday shit.
All right, let's look at it like this. You know how many times people went to jail because the parents were at work and they didn't have anybody watch their kids?
What are you talking about?
Hold on, listen.
Hey, let me chime in real quick, Josh.
Listen.
No, hold up.
Go ahead.
2 kids and I work 2 jobs. Single father. There's no excuses.
Hey, what do you say? No excuses?
The nigga will lie.
No excuses.
The nigga will make excuses.
Look.
Nobody
I think it's less about these people being lazy. I really don't think as many of them are lazy as the just regular ass people. I think too many people are just confused. Things have been misrepresented to them. The idea that you can just get a college degree, right? Like he was saying, put in the hard work. Hard work equals college degree, according to him, and then bam, you're guaranteed. You know what I mean? A good living. That's not the case.
Fuck no.
Then you have to take that product that you just got and go market it, right? Represent yourself in a positive light to compete against all the other applicants and win that job. It's the same thing as if you're a business owner and you got to win a bid every single time.
Facts.
You're competing against other businesses. When you're an employee, you're competing against other applicants.
All right.
So not
willing to compete is really what it's coming down to.
Can I come back in?
Nato, thanks so much for the likes. Appreciate it.
All right. So this is my issue. It's always excuses and not a problem that needs to be addressed. It's just excuses. Don't nobody want to accept the answer.
Hey, bro, if they're excuses, they're excuses.
Hold on, bro. Y'all let y'all talk. Let me get my points in. Okay, the reason I
hold on, let me cut you off real quick. No, I'm just playing.
Anyway, man, all right. But the reason I brought up, kids going to jail because their parents not there. Yeah, you work the 60 hours. They got a roof over their head. They got clothes. They got all this other stuff. But they're missing the most valuable thing in life, which is being parented properly. So now, hold on. So now that your dad's been working the entire time, he didn't raise you properly, and now your kids are in jail. Where's the success in that?
Hold on, bro. Wait a minute.
Why would we go to jail, though?
Wait a second. Listen.
Hey,
What do you think is more? I'm gonna let DJ go after I say this too. What do you think is more important? Because y'all love to bring kids into the conversation. These people are going home, sitting on the couch, cracking open a Bush Light and watching TV. They are not spending time with their kids like y'all think they are.
What?
They are not spending time, and the time that they do spend with their children is not meaningful time that they spend actually teaching their children. So what's more important, that what you're teaching your children, or the amount of time that you're spending with your children?
No. I didn't say for them to do that, but you definitely can't do that if you're working your life away.
No. Let's just say I'm working 60 hours a week, right? There's 168 hours. There's 168 hours in a week total. I'm working 60 of them. Okay, I take 8 of them to. Let's say you take 8 of them to sleep. Okay, that means you got about 51, 52 hours left over. Which one do you think is the better father? The father that spends 5 hours a day with their kid, right? And he's playing with them. They're throwing the ball back and forth. The typical white picket fence bullshit. That stuff. Or do you think that the father that's teaching their kid, all right, son, let me take you out into the world and show you a little bit about life, and he does that for an hour a day? What kid is actually learning more? What kid is learning more to be able to integrate with society in a positive way?
All right, so let me ask you this. If he's working 60 hours a week, does he have the opportunity to do that?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the chances of that happening?
What do you mean the chances? The chances of what happening?
Of him being able to do that. Does that go higher or lower?
Well, in my scenario, it's the same. They both equally have the same amount of time to spend with their children, but one father is teaching their children about life. They're teaching them financial literacy. They're teaching them the value of money. They're teaching them how investment works. They're teaching them how to be good in school. They're teaching them how to actively listen to people while they speak. The other one is just doing what most people do. Hey, son, how you doing? Give them a hug. And they sit and watching TV while their kids doing whatever the fuck they want to do. But they spend a little time with their kid, though. They spend a little time with their kid. Which child is actually learning the things that you guys complain about now as older people, about financial literacy, about credit, about finances, about the value of a dollar, about what's going to pay you money in the workplace and what's not going to pay you money in the workplace? Teaching your kid what a man and a woman actually is, that women don't have beards.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I agree with you with that. But the thing is, and the point I'm making is, if you're working 60, 70 hours a week, the chances of you to be able to do that greatly diminishes. And
Can I chime in?
He's not saying work 60 hours permanently for the rest of your life.
Exactly, bro. I'm not saying work for 60 hours forever, bro. I'm saying you work. And honestly, I don't think you need to be having kids if you can't take care of yourself anyway. That's your part of y'all's problem. I'm going to say it again because I say it every live. Y'all have got to stop fucking. You got to stop fucking. You should not be fucking. Stop fucking, dude. Stop having children out of wedlock when you're not married. Stop it. Knock it the fuck off. Because you guys are too focused on doing that shit, drinking and doing drugs, and you aren't actually focusing on your success within the marketplace.
Host, this is what I was going to incentivize. If you're working 60 hours a week and you're not making it, you're doing something wrong. Period.
Thanks for the follow.
You're making some kind of financial decision that is not. Most people living above their means. They want to live a lifestyle.
The first thing I did was quit all my jobs.
Can't afford, and because what they're doing, they can't afford to do it. They're like, oh man, I don't know, I can't do this. I'm working too hard. But in actuality, just live normal. Everybody wants to live like celebrities, and we don't make celebrity money.
Oh yeah.
That's a social media thing too, bro. People are coming out here and they seeing what these people post on social media with their McLarens and them going on international trips and doing all this stuff, but they don't see all of the work that they put in order to get there.
But they see that and they're like, oh man, I work so hard. Why don't I have that? But then they don't do the small calculations. They got sponsors. They got other things. It's their field. Like everything makes different money. Now, if you want to go into a certain field, like one of those high-paying fields, you're going to have way more competition to get those. It's going to be way harder to get those, and you're going to have to put in a lot of extra time that you don't think you should because you got a degree. But hey, man, that's life. But the low jobs, they're there. And you can start there, go to school,
Man,
and then
look.
make it to where you want.
First things first, everybody in the chat, thank y'all so much for being in here. Y'all type in hashtag FYP in the chat, bro, because there are people out here that need to see this shit. Hashtag FYP in the chat, please. And let me know if y'all can hear very well. Make sure the quality of the stream's good. Yeah, man, I agree. Hashtag fee. Ugh, freaky ass nigga.
I don't know what he got going on.
I don't know. I just feel like if you put in 60 hours to being a business owner, and if you put in 60 hours to being an employee, you'll be successful either way. One may just take longer than the other, or they may not, to be honest. But
I don't agree with that, Hood. I don't agree with that. Maybe
so
60 hours into being a business
like
owner,
like mine was saying, if you spend less money than you make, if you put 10% of your money away, eventually you will have $1 million or millions of dollars.
That's what I'm saying.
You will be able to retire with dignity. The idea that you need to be a 30-year-old, or some people say that's too old, in their 20s, right, and have so much money that they don't need to work. Those people come from rich parents, or they won the lottery, and maybe not a physical lottery ran by the government, but a social media lottery.
Crash out.
Right?
Thanks for the follow.
Yeah, it's everybody standing around saying, "Man, why can't I win the lottery?" Right? It's stupid, and they're just influenced. That's all.
Yo, phone, whatever his name is, freaky ass.
Hold on. Mind of said, how old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 29. I work at Perry Ellis International. Just a little regular old factory job. Been doing that for a good minute.
Okay.
Don't make much. Make about 17, 18. Not you know what I'm saying? And I'm living comfortably. Everybody else around here complaining, oh, price of this and price of that. I budget. I put money back. If there's not a
J.M. Blake, thank you so much for the gold medallion, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that gift. Appreciate that.
There's not an immediate need. Like, I had to break up with my woman for this, and I was cool with it because.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because she had this mindset, and this is a mindset that, like you said, that social media mindset. We have to do this. We have to do that. No, we don't. That costs, and I don't make that money to do it. So I'm not going to go broke to fund a lifestyle that you yourself cannot afford, and I'm not going to put myself in a hole and make my children's life hard. Because in the end of the day, when we go broke, the people that you spent this money to have a party and to throw this and to go here with these people, when we lose that and we ain't got nothing, those people ain't never there to help. So I put in my mind, I will never get to the point in my life to where I have to ask for a handout. It's not even a brag. It's not. It's just simple. Like, my dad taught me this. You need to have at least 3 months worth of bills.
3 months of living expenses.
3 months of living that can cover your rent, water, food, anything in your bank account. In the case you get injured, you lose your job, or hell, even something bad just happens. You know what I mean? That I can be like, all right, cool. I can take a step back, get my mental together, and I can come back and try this again in 3 months. But most people don't live like that. Most people get their paycheck. Oh, I got $600. I got $600 to spend. That's how most people think. That when people that live paycheck to paycheck, oh, I got this, and unless it's to save for rent, oh, everything else, as long as I got my rent paid, and that's a horrible way to live.
There's people that make $500K a year and they're living paycheck to paycheck right now.
Facts. Because they're
over leveraged. They're in a $2 million house. They're in a $200,000 G-Wagon, and they don't have 6 months worth of living expenses. If something were to happen, guess what? That home is foreclosed on. You see it happen all the time. You see $1 million homes get foreclosed on because people don't know how to budget. And with Mind's mentality, he doesn't need to make a lot of money. With Mind's mentality, if he puts 10% of his money that he makes, his after-tax income, away and never touches it, he'll be a millionaire and he'll retire with dignity.
I do 80% because I don't go anywhere. I pay for a home to be there.
Hey, not to cut you off, but I was going to ask y'all.
You know what I'm saying? I don't make money to go out and spend it on things that everybody else think is cool to do. Now, I might save for a trip to go do something, but that's rare. I want another thing, she gives my kids everything they want, and I hate it. I hate that.
Dang.
Yeah, you gotta, you can't do that.
No. And it's not because I don't love my kids, but you're going to earn something.
Yeah, you gotta earn it.
I've learned people that and once again, I told her to her face, hey dude, your dad and your mom gave everything to you. You never had to pay for anything in your life, and look how you act. You are so entitled. When somebody tells you no, you can't handle it. And that's a lot of society.
I grew him out. You said you think we're born to work. That's kind of crazy. I think Six trying to say something.
Six, what's going on,
Can I
man?
ask a quick question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second, Six. Mars, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask y'all. So, what is like a comfortable amount of money for y'all to have in your bank account to feel like, okay, like I made it, like, or not I made it, but like
It's different for
Like,
everyone.
at least that's all I'm saying. Minimum. There's not. It's different for everybody. If you're somebody that likes to do a lot, then you need to save more. If you're somebody that's simple like me, you just need to worry about bills because I don't plan on going anywhere. I got so much land. I can ride my 4-wheeler. I can go fishing. I can do everything that everybody else has to travel to do because that's what I wanted in life from the moment I turned 18.
On $18,
that's real though. That's success.
I didn't want suburbs. I didn't want to live.
and that's also
nobody.
not even a good question because.
And that's off a regular 9 to 5.
I kind of want to answer that question. I'm gonna let Six go. Because when people come up here and they talk about success, like what is success? That's basically what he asked. He said, "What does success look like to you?" And the answer that I really have to give that is, I don't think success is a result. I think success is a refusal. I think success is a refusal to stay average, is a refusal to stay mediocre, a refusal to blame others or to make excuses, and waking up every day and choosing discipline over the distractions. You know what I'm saying? Growth over your comfort. You know, your purpose over your pleasure. That's what true success is. It's not a result of something. It's not the money per se. Now, I'm not saying you don't need the money, like you do, but if you have a refusal to stay average and a refusal to, if you like reject mediocrity and stop blaming others for your situation and go out into the world and actually make something of yourself, the money's gonna follow you. But when you decide, hey, we're going to go with growth over the comfort. I'm willing to be uncomfortable for this amount of time if I grow this much over time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what success is to me.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I
I'm
get what
black.
you're saying. I get what you're saying.
The first thing I did was quit all my jobs.
I think one thing people should look at too, especially in the dynamic of like success, because so like, for instance, like the 50 gifter badge I have on here, that costs $1 million to get, right? So like I was able to send that on just like donating to people and shit this year, and I made probably the most money I made this year, but I'm also not the most happy I am this year. And I think people really they misperceive what success is in regards to, one, do you want to, like, are you trying to be like the best at what you do, and does doing that make you happy? Because then if that is, that's successful, but it also comes with a lot of sacrifice. 60 hours a week per se is not enough. I work probably 100, if not more. I'm 29, no wife, no kids, not even a girlfriend. I don't
100 hours a week.
My boy grinding.
Yeah, I grind nonstop, but that's what it takes nowadays.
That's crazy.
But that's like for instance, like I made between like 3 to 5 million this year. So, but like yeah, and like I'm not kidding. Like I'm being dead ass serious. But is it worth it? Like am I happier? No, right? Now what could I have been just as happy making 200K?
3 to 5 million, huh?
Yeah. Again, I think on crypto alone, I did 3.
TikTok, I'd be chilling.
But you said it didn't make you happier, so
exactly. So I think people shouldn't chase the monetary value, and they should chase what really brings them
like goals.
Yeah, and it's not about like how much money you have in the bank, because even the richest people, we all know, like I don't keep cash. We have assets, appreciating assets, and also learning how to organize and deal with debt. There's good debt and bad debt. It's not about how much you make necessarily. It's about how you use your money to make more money.
So the money mutual accounts are effectively liquid cash. You can withdraw at any time.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different dynamics and like situations you can put yourself in to where you don't even have to be making 5-10 million a year, $1 million a year, even 500K a year. You can make 100-200K a year. Set yourself up properly.
102, yeah, but you got to understand that when you're talking about 200K a year, you're already talking about the top 10%.
not in today's markets, bro. There's a lot of jobs.
No. So what do you think is the median? What do you think is the median household income for an entire household, kids, mother, husband, right? What do you think is that median household income?
Look, I don't care about the stats. They're all sweet.
No. Come on.
Oh, brother. Hold on. Everybody, wait a minute. Wait a second. 6, bro. You had to know that this was gonna come when you said what you said, bro. There's people in the chat saying that you're lying, bro. Do you have a rebuttal to
Proof?
that?
I mean, Google how much a 50 badge on TikTok costs.
Nah, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the amount of
I
money
can't
that
see
you
the chat. My
made.
phone glitched. Yeah, Google the amount the gifter badge costs, and that alone will tell you. I started TikTok this year, like 8 months, 9 months.
Google how much the gifter badge costs.
Level 50 gifter badge on like for TikToks. Google how much that costs.
In the chat, they saying in the median 40K. That's what they saying in the chat.
Google it.
Okay, but we have to care about facts, right? Because,
Yeah, facts.
Okay, and the facts are, what do you think, or I could tell you if you want me to, the median household income is?
Yeah, probably like 60K, maybe less.
75, but yeah, so that's for the entire nation's average.
But the median is
highest
also
cost-
very swayed based on highs and lows.
No, well,
so
yeah,
be-
but so
the highs are
median's
really
better
high.
than. Sorry, what?
But the highs are really high. That's what makes the median so.
That's what makes the
Those are
median
outliers,
better,
but-
right? Because
Exactly.
the median is that if you
Well,
took a
I'm
million
black
people,
now.
right?
But
The
the first
middle
thing I did
person.
was quit all my
Do they
jobs.
count people that's homeless in there?
Thank y'all so much for the heart, me man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but look, like after stats, all right. This is like realistically, like people I know in real life from going to high school through college, multiple jobs. I don't really hear people making 40, 50K anymore. The
So
lowest
hold
salaries I
on.
hear
You
is, like,
spent.
60 to
So I
100.
looked it up, bro. It says that you have to spend about $950 to $1 million on virtual gifts in order to get the badge.
Yeah, and I have other accounts. My backup's a 46 badge, and I have like 5 level
Well,
35
I'm black
badges.
now. But the first thing I did was quit
But
all
like I
my
was saying,
jobs.
like, I don't have to prove nothing to nobody, but I think that proves itself. But it's all tax write-offs, by the way, so that's why it's applicable. And then also like, I go
Hey,
live
not to
on
cut you off,
YouTube.
brother, but I even think like when I hear you say, "Oh yeah, I made $3 million, $5 million," I feel like people that have never generated any money from not working for it, they just automatically, their brain just shuts off. They just automatically call it fake, like, or just any success. Like,
They
I
call
just
it
don't
fake.
get
They
it.
call it fake even when you do, bro. Like people come up here and people come up here and lie through their teeth. They'll come up here and they'll say, "Oh, well, you don't really make the money you say you're making," and blah blah blah. And then like, there's been a couple of times where I'm like, "Look,
Hey,
man,
do you mind if I go
I'll
down?
put."
I gotta close the app and come back. Do you mind if I do that real quick?
That's fine. Go ahead.
And I ain't gonna lie, I could start off too, cause I've been on here for a while. I'm gonna let somebody else get up. But I gotta say one last thing, and y'all, I know, Mr. Host, you gonna get mad because you don't like this type of stuff. This is why the American government be getting away with this bullshit. Cause we always working, and the American people is always getting preyed upon by these corporations. When you working 60 hours a week. When you working 60 hours a week, the person that benefits the most is Amazon, Walmart, Target. They're the ones making all the money here. Okay.
Well, but if you
Happen.
do,
It
you
didn't just
want?
pop up
Let
out
me
of
ask you
nowhere.
this though: do you want to make that amount of money?
What?
Do you want to make the amount of money that Amazon makes?
You know what's crazy, boss? I ain't gonna lie to you, cause look, you asked about success, and I really do believe that you should be spending most of your working time trying to work to get those skills. So if you gotta work 60, you gotta work 60. But success for me isn't really about making the money. I want to wake up every day loving what I do. To me, that's success. If I'm making 25,000, I'm making 15,000, but I got a purpose waking up every day. That's is what it is. So, do I want to make money like them? It'll be nice, but if I don't, who cares?
I got some bad news for the vast majority of people is that outside of the outliers, you can
This is my
absolutely,
Coinbase for the past year. Just
you
so,
can
like,
you can absolutely learn to hate anything.
Hold up.
So I would just say try to do something, right? Try to find something that you can tolerate that makes money, because you can learn to hate anything.
That's real.
I just screenshot that.
What do we do?
So like they were saying I was lying. Like that's my realized return, total return. That's like almost 3 mil. Just
What fucking
crypto.
app is this?
That's Coinbase.
Oh, that's Coinbase. I don't use Coinbase, bro. I use Exodus and other things, but okay, cool. Yeah,
like
man.
some people think that's lying.
My question though, Josh, was, do you want to make that amount of money?
Do I want to?
Yes. Do you want to make the amount of money that Amazon makes?
I would be lying to you if I said, and it's gonna sound crazy, if I did. Like if I said, yeah, I want to make Bezos money.
What if I told you that majority of the rest of the United States is also on the same in the same mind frame you're in? They don't want to make that amount of money. So you can't complain that these corporations are making the amount of money they made off of building these businesses that hire millions and millions of people and how much money they make when you yourself don't want to put the work in order to get that stuff going for yourself. You can't complain about it.
And they're giving away jobs. There's nothing bad about rich people.
Well, jobs is hard to get
in this
nowadays,
economy.
too.
Come on, now don't say that.
People need jobs at the end of the day, so I don't know why people get mad at people.
Wait 6-7 months for a job right now. What you mean they give me real job?
I love it. What kind of jobs you looking for, bro? What kind of jobs you looking for?
The job you went to college for?
Which is what?
That's hard. That's hard, bro.
Look, let's say you get like an accounting.
No, I'm not saying. I'm talking about you now. What degree did you get?
I'm working on.
What do you mean working on? I thought you said you were looking for a job right now.
He's using somebody else's hypothetical to make it seem like the economy is worse than it is.
I never said I never said I had no job. I got a job. Actually, there's not a day that I have that I can sleep in. I'm up Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah. So you're talking about a hypothetical person that isn't here that you're saying has gone 6 months without finding a job in the career field that they studied.
Yes, that's a lot of people.
But that's what I was saying earlier is that other people are getting those jobs over them because they're not able to market their skill set.
And you want to know the reason? The reason why? You want to know the reason?
They just can't market, huh?
No. But do you want to know the reason why they're not getting the job?
Well, let me know.
It's because their resumes look like shit.
Oh, no, that's what it is, huh?
Yes.
Honestly,
they interview like
they don't understand. Hold on, one person at a time. They don't understand how to correctly build their resume for the job that they're applying for,
and for the AIs because they filtered them.
Exactly. Do you know what? Let me ask you this, Josh. What does ATS mean? What is that?
You talking about the tracking system for the resume?
The what?
The tracking system for the resume?
Applicant tracking system. How many people do you know how to build their resume in order to profit off of that?
Look, listen, bro.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not the resume.
Hey, but look, if you don't know, just ask AI, bro.
I'm
AI
telling you
is
that
so
right
good.
now. Hey, what CFA clout lawyer? You said they be lying on their resume. They do be lying, and they still don't get the job.
They said that they're lying.
What else you supposed to do?
You gotta make a new look for every job you apply to.
You have to make a different resume for it. Well, not completely different, but you got to alter some of the words in your resume.
And use fucking Chat GPT, Gemini 2.5. These things are smarter than all of us.
You do know that when you use Chat GPT, they'll disqualify you from the job because you're using Chat GPT?
You can run that shit through a fucking DAI analyzer. I own
There's
AI.
no excuses, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
And I use AI to code most of my programming.
There's no
now.
excuses, bro. None. You have more opportunity than any other generation before you, and you making excuses
It just goes
why
back
you
to
can't
what I
do
was
it.
saying earlier. Getting a degree does not guarantee you a job. You have to sell
I
yourself.
have 2 masters in
The
science,
first thing I
from
did
maths,
was
computational
put all
biology,
my-
and it don't. But if you wanna
Hey,
guarantee
Four,
yourself a
appreciate you
job-
for the hat mustache, brother. Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Look,
If you want a guaranteed job, show them you can do. Show them what you can do. Don't tell them that, because when I look at developers to hire right now, I'm looking at what their portfolio is like. What have they built that I can see? Like, okay, we could use this. This guy's good. I'm not looking about what's on the paper. I don't even look at the fucking resume. I don't give a shit. I just go straight to the portfolio. I don't care if they went to college or nothing. I don't even care if they graduated high school. I just want to see what can they do.
I'm about to drop. Yeah, I'm about to drop. But I ain't gonna lie. I hear y'all. I hear you. I really do hear you. But
He said, "But."
if you look on Glassdoor right now,
fuck.
listen,
No,
listen,
listen,
let me finish.
Those jobs are fake that you're
Let me
applying
finish.
Screenshot your resume, put it up there. We put you on the big screen, and we can help you out. How about that?
No, I have a job, bro. Let me finish.
What do you mean too slick with it? I do hire people. I have fucking like 6 developers right now.
If all of those people are doing all of those things and they still can't find a job, what are they supposed to do?
There's things that they're doing that aren't correct, bro. There's a deficiency.
You gonna tell that to the people that lost all their jobs in the 2008 recession? That's what you gonna tell them?
Well, yeah.
2008?
We about to be in another one in 2025. What the hell you talking about?
Oh man, this dude fear mongering. He fear mongering.
The limiting beliefs.
Look,
You know,
I'll give you the best
Wait,
advice.
hold on. First of all, look. Let me say something, man. The times that recessions come, you think people aren't making money, bro? That's another time that you should be trying to get rich. Those are more opportunities that are going to pop
A
up.
recession?
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Make money during recessions, bro. That's why you gotta just get financial literacy, gang. That's all you need.
This
bro.
motherfucker.
Look,
Am I tripping?
Like
Hey,
You know what a
COVID.
recession is?
Yes.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
make money in recessions because there's always a market all the time.
Yeah, always. And buy cheap. It's like Black Friday sale.
Yeah,
But listen,
exactly. Market resets like the housing market crash in '08, that afforded the opportunity for the most real estate millionaires following that crash, because people who had liquid cash, school teachers, right, who had 40,000 in the bank, were able to go out and buy duplexes for pennies on the dollar, and now they're very wealthy. We're saying, like, without market resets or crashes, like you're calling it, it's really hard for younger generations to even get into the game if there's nothing that's ever offered on discount.
Okay, let me all right. So let me answer that. Let me talk to that right quick. So if I got an economist right now and say, "Hey, bro, and a recession's coming up, is this the time to get rich?"
yes, you want to be liquid. You want to be liquid.
Yeah, because if you could predict exactly when recessions were happening, then you could predict when gold prices would skyrocket. You could predict a bunch of speculative investments, right? The idea of that knowing that a recession is going to come, nobody knows. Nobody can know, because people
You can also buy put options too.
Or look at like
That's what you can
COVID.
do.
When COVID came, people invested in like Google Meets, the online things, stuff like that, or like masks, stuff like that. And they became
Do you
rich.
want me to tell you how people get a lot of money off of a recession, bro? What happens during a recession to housing and real
Put in
estate
the market
prices?
and buying shit low.
I'm not gonna lie.
No, Josh. What happens to real estate during a recession?
So you telling me somebody that working?
Bro, I asked you a question. What happens to real estate during a recession?
Interest rates
So
drop
you telling
heavily.
me somebody that work at Costco is gonna be able to buy
If
up
they
real
were
estate?
saving money, if they were saving their money.
Y'all boys crazy.
No, but do you understand? Do you have any real estate, bro? Do you have any real estate?
Come on now, y'all said.
Here, let me
Oh,
explain.
man. I'm trying to teach you, bro. I'm trying to teach you.
Hey, Trump's doing it right now. The market's crashing, right?
Do any of this stuff.
Hey, Josh,
You know
listen.
what I'm saying?
So
Go ahead,
Trump's
bro.
crashing the market right now on purpose because we have a high debt for the U.S. So crashing the interest rate or crashing the market makes the Fed lower the interest rate so people can
They
borrow
have
money.
to, bro. They don't have a choice. They're gonna have to lower the interest, bro. Lumber's fucking tumbling down. They're gonna have to.
Exactly.
They don't
So
have a
that's why
choice.
recession's
Nobody's
actually
going to
good.
get loans. People aren't getting loans and mortgages for 7%
Exactly.
interest.
So you can borrow money for cheaper now. And the biggest cost on money is if you're borrowing it for businesses, and every business has debt, is the interest rate. So now you can borrow money and go make more money with that, right? And that's how that's one way to get rich during a recession. On top of that, if you need to make networking, go to your local country club and sign the fuck up and work there. Do whatever you got to do online there and meet people. And that's how I did it when I was younger.
I'm not gonna
All you
lie.
gotta do
I'm
is
sending
fix the
people to-
problem during a recession.
Y'all do understand a lot of stuff y'all saying. The average American,
Bro.
not
But that's what we're
do
trying to
it.
change. That's what you're not getting.
By
That's what
being
we're trying to
average.
change, Josh.
If
Josh,
everybody
listen,
does
Josh.
it,
You understand what an FHA is, right? You understand what that is? Correct? Yes or no?
I don't. So explain it to me.
Okay, FHA. FHA loans what people use when they buy first time home buyers. Okay, they use FHA loans. Okay,
Right.
during a recession, you can use an FHA loan in order to buy a multi-unit property as long as you stay in one of the units.
In a recession,
Yes.
you don't take out a loan.
You only need 3.5%.
But listen. But all you need is 3.5% down and a credit score over 620 in order to do it. Do you know how many people got multifamily homes, multifamily buildings using FHA loans during the recession?
You know how many people were homeless during the recession?
Oh my God, bro! You're not listening, bro.
Even if you didn't want to go that
You
route.
guys are just looking at like the outliers.
It's not an outlier. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what people do in order to make money during the recession.
Okay,
Hey,
let me talk about.
with y'all, man. I'm just learning stuff and shit.
Okay, if you wanted a
You
for
can't
sure way to get
sideline.
some generational wealth, bro, you could literally go to the military right now. You can get a VA house loan. You can get any property, duplex, whatever you name it, rent it out, do the same things for no money down. There's always a way to get rich, bro. There's always a way, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh, really? There's always a way to get rich?
There's always a way.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. 80% of people live in
Oh
paycheck
my
to paycheck.
God, bro! You're not listening. You're not listening.
But hey, the
Also,
reason
stop
why
worrying
those-
about how to get rich and worry about how you can improve somebody's life, make it easier.
the
That's
reason why
how you
those
solve
people,
problems.
the reason why those people are living paycheck to paycheck is because of their spending choices.
Yeah, their spending habits are bad.
Mine was talking about it earlier. He makes hardly nothing, right? No offense. I'm just saying you make low income on the broader, you know what I mean, in the broader.
This dude a Marine.
But he's able to save money because he doesn't spend it. So if you had your average Costco American, right, making $25 an hour at Costco, right?
Mine is said. That's why he say he got all that land.
You're putting 10% away. You're putting 10% away.
You have See, bro, look at bro. He's literally showing you what I just told you. He has land. He's living the life he wants to live. He's living the life he wants to live.
5 years. 5 years of just having to put up with just shit for 5 years.
Y'all gotta cut it out, man.
Bro, why are you not listening to what we're saying,
I
bro?
really just gave a random example, and the dude on the live is literally living that life right now.
Look.
And you
How
still
about
have
this?
an excuse.
Let me say it like this, boss. Let me say it like this. In times of economic downturn, let's go to the goddamn Holocaust. Let's take it to the Holocaust.
Damn.
When they was out there getting severely mutilated, excuse me, you think the Jews could just be like, you know what? Let me just get up out of my situation, go to the nearest hardware store, and ask for a job.
We're talking about the Holocaust right now.
With the military,
The reason I
options
bring that
not
up,
join the
I know
military.
I'm being extreme.
Oh
I know I'm
my
being
God.
extreme. I'm just, when you be extreme, it's just to really highlight the point. I don't really mean the Holocaust for real. But when you scale it back to how it is now, right now, what y'all saying is not as realistic for the average.
I'm a real person.
That have to get up every morning.
Facts.
They're not doing that.
All right, man. Everybody in the chat, bro. Everybody in the chat. Look, listen. Everybody in the chat. One's if you understand what we're talking about when we say that there are opportunities to be successful and make money within the United States during a recession. Twos, if you agree with fucking Josh.
I don't care nobody agree with me. I ain't never care. What you mean?
It's crazy, bro.
I'm crazy?
I just feel like you literally have a real life example.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you're crazy. I'm just saying you seem like you make you seem like your answer to everything is to make an excuse why somebody can't do something instead of making an excuse of why they can do it. That's the difference in mindset between you and everybody else on here.
I'm getting a lot of different answers in the chat. I see a lot of 1, a lot of 2, a lot of 3. I don't know.
A lot of three.
Anybody that agree with you is just like you, and that ain't a good thing.
Hey, look, I get to it. I ain't saying don't work. I ain't never said nothing like that. I ain't never said nothing like that. You got to get up, get a job. I ain't never said don't get no job.
Go to the military, buy a home, rent it out, be
saying
rich.
is bullshit. Okay?
Damn, man.
I literally spitballed. Mine is said literally has a property right now.
So look, we gonna go down the line, man. We gonna go down. Monda said, you here, bro? Monda said, are you here? Hello.
Oh, my bad. I was getting my son. He was getting his eggs and stuff ready.
No problem, man. So how do you feel about the topic, bro? Yes or no? Do people need to be working 60 hours a week if they're serious about being successful in the world today?
If you're like, once again, I'm not deflecting. I'm gonna answer. No. I don't think you have to work 60 depending on your lifestyle, because I don't work 60 and I'm fine.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
What if you were making $15 an hour for 2 years?
Also went to the military though.
No, I did 5 in the military, and I used that option so I can get a normal job in the real world.
Hold on. But what if you were making $15 an hour for the last 3 years?
$15 an hour for the last 3 years. I mean, I make 17, so it's not really that much more. You can still do it depending on your lifestyle. If you're depending on where you stay. Because I stay in South Carolina, so rent isn't as high for me, or if I was to rent, it's not as high for me as it is for like California.
I just need a yes or no, bro. If they're making $15 an hour for the last 3 years, and somebody said, you should work 60 hours a week so that you can pay for the skills that you need in order to make $60,000.
$15 an hour or 60 hours a week, yeah, you're straight. If you're not a complete idiot and blow your money, yeah, you're straight.
But they need to be saving that money that they're working an extra 20 hours so they get okay. All right, Josh, yes or no?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I do. I know it sounds like I don't, but I do agree that you gotta work harder. If you gotta take more hours, you gotta get more hours.
All right, because I gotta bring some other people up here, so I need to get a consensus.
Right,
DJ,
no problem.
DJ, yes or no?
Well, you know my answer. I do 60, so yes.
All right, Mars, yes or no?
I feel like at some point in your life you will have to. That's my answer.
Okay. Marcus, yes or no?
Yeah, I would recommend it just to get to the point where you don't have to work that many.
All right, great. So we're all on the same page. We want people to do better so they can make enough money to be able to retire. Cool. Thank y'all so much for coming up, man. We're going to get some new people up here, man. We're going to get some new people up here. Thank y'all so much for coming on, bro.
How do I drop?
Me up.
All right.
Appreciate y'all, man. Woo, shit. W's in the chat, man. W's in the chat. We're gonna get a new group of people up here, man. We're gonna get a new group of people up. Some people in the box has been waiting. Thank y'all for all of the gifts. I really appreciate it. Keep the gifts coming, man. If you like the content, if you understand what we're trying to do here, keep the gifts coming so we can pitch the ideas out to everybody within the marketplace so people can earn enough money to be able to retire. Because some of these niggas is lazy as fuck out here, man. Cringy leftists.
My advice to
welcome back, man.
How's it going? My advice to Josh would have been get a certificate, a 2-year degree, go to a trade school, even a 4-year degree. That's like the statistically that's like the largest. That's the best thing you can do in order to like raise your prospects for wealth later in life.
Great. Level up. How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you again.
Nice to see you, man. How old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 37. I've been on your live before. I have a trade contracting business, and I also have a commercial property business.
Mm-hmm.
And
what you think about the 60-hour thing, man? What you think?
Absolutely. That whole conversation. I listened to the conversation, especially the dude that alleged that he made $5 million a year, or whatever. The whole conversation to me. There was one guy, I think it was a picture of him and his wife. He was making sense. Everybody else sounded crazy to me. And this is what happened. And this is what happens on this app, unfortunately. Like, you have guys that come on this app and say they make $3 or $5 million or whatever.
Hey, he showed it though. He did. He showed it.
Okay. But my thing is, he still said he wasn't happy, and then he's telling guys, don't do it for the money. Like, here's the thing, man. Let's assume he was telling the truth. God bless him if he was. I think that's great. Here's the reality. Number one, most people are not going to make that kind of money.
Correct.
No matter how, not a year. Number two, if you are making that kind of money, and I make a lot of money with my businesses, and what makes me happy is that, number one, I have financial security. I have medical insurance. My house is paid off. I have other properties. I'm able to financially support my mom. She has excellent health care.
Awesome.
I'm able to send my nephew to private school, pay for all his extracurricular activities. My wife is currently in grad school. That's paid for. That's why we do what we do, because it's not about, I'm jumping out of bed because I like plumbing, or I like to go and sell properties. It's the money that it brings in enables me to have a lifestyle, and it gives my family security. And that's really what this is about. Scott Galloway said, you do the things that are necessary. Scott Galloway said, you do the things that you can be happy. And being happy means being able to take care of your parent. Like when the guy was talking about the 3 or 5 million, and he had no girlfriend, no wife, no kids, I didn't hear anything about, this money I made, I'm able to take care of my parents. I set aside money for retirement, or I started a foundation.
Yeah, it's about what you did with that money. Because if you made all that money in that 1 year, you're probably not going to make that money the next year.
Right.
So what are you doing with it now in order to like compound it?
Exactly. You made all this money, but he said he wasn't happy, but he's not doing anything with the money. He's not.
Well, we don't know what he's doing with the money.
Bro. Well, he didn't mention anything. But the point is, you're right, we don't know. But the point is, we have to stop getting locked into this. Number one, every business is not going to be sexy. Some of the most unsexy businesses on the planet are the most lucrative.
You telling
That's
me,
number
bro?
one.
I cut grass, so
That's what I'm saying. Number one. Number two, you don't do the business to make you happy. You do the business to create a lifestyle that's going to make you happy,
Right.
which is having money to take care of things and being able to enjoy your life the way you want to enjoy. I got a few toys. I don't have to fly coach anymore. I don't have to stay at Holiday Express. I'm able to stay where I want. I'm able to drive what I want, and I'm able to fly. And that's why I do what I do. I don't do it because I love the work. If you love the work, that's a bonus, but that's not going to always be the case. Sometimes you have to do the things you don't want to do in order to do the things that you want to do.
Right.
And I think that I'll land it here. I think that's the biggest problem with social media is that everybody's under the impression that every business is going to be sexy, and within 90 days you're all going to be millionaires, and that you don't have you just can work 20 minutes a week and you're going to have $1 million in your bank. It's just ridiculous, and it's not based on reality. And we have to stop doing that, and we have to encourage people that if you're not working enough hours, or if you're in an industry that's not earning enough, you need to change industries and get into lucrative industries that pay better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll land it there.
Level up.
I appreciate it.
would
Level
agree
up.
with
Thank you.
I think if you're not high school educated, the best thing you can do is get some sort of post high school education.
Right. Get a trade.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything.
So leak.
Drive a damn truck if you have to. Whatever brings money in, but get a skill set that's in high demand and that pays well.
Leak.
Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up?
How you doing, man? How old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 29. I'm a loan officer.
You're a lawn officer or a law officer?
Loan officer.
A loan officer. Okay.
Yes, sir. That's why I got in like at the tail end about the FHA. So I was like, yeah, that's 3.5 isn't enough. You're gonna need more than 3.5 down to really get all the way in. But yeah, if you're young, take your ass to work. I mean, no matter what it is, you should be working really 6 days a week. I mean, especially if you ain't got no kids, you should be at work majority of the time. You ain't got nothing else to do.
For real.
Anything else you doing, you're gonna be spending money. So if you really trying to live a life when you get older, nigga, you need to be at work grinding so you can eventually play as much as you want. Cause I know a bunch of people that had a bunch of fun young and they broke as hell now. So,
right.
I mean, especially y'all was talking about like $15 an hour. I couldn't even imagine living on $15 an hour.
Michael, thanks so much for the follow, man.
I stayed in Dallas though. Y'all was saying y'all stay in South Carolina, so that's kind of more like that makes sense. You know,
and I'm in Alabama, so it's
yeah. So and that's why I was like, maybe they just don't. Maybe they're not like in major cities. But I would also say if you're young, use your time wisely. Never just have one job. Always have multiple ways of income because, my daddy always told me one job is close to none. You know what I'm saying? So continue to go.
So what down payment do you need nowadays if you're gonna do FHA to get a multifamily? Let's say your credit score is 620. What's the down payment do you need?
You're gonna really need 3.5 plus your closing costs, and then because you don't want.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you're probably gonna need about 7%.
Yeah, there we go. So,
but I mean, 7% of let's say you get a multifamily that costs you $500,000.
So we talking 250. So we talking, yeah. I mean, you still gonna need 15. I always tell people 15 to 20. Your options are open. The problem is people only think about the 3.5. They don't think about the closing costs. They don't think about the appraisal fee. They don't think about all the other stuff that goes with it.
Not to mention whatever repairs the house may need.
Right, whatever repair. But you can get that loan with you can figure out what repairs it needs and then put that into the loan.
That's true.
For sure.
A lot of people are just looking for turnkey operations, and most of these houses now that are affordable.
$35,000 to get a $500,000 property that's already fucked up. So you could probably sell it for more than that. You'll probably be able to sell it for maybe, depending on how long you sit on it, you might be able to sell it for $750 plus, maybe.
That's over what, 4 years?
What I would recommend people do is go to alternative markets like Detroit, Newark, and different places like that, and buy properties there first. Like trying to move into a upscale area and pay premium for your first
Well,
property.
I actually.
So that's you saving, but see,
I kinda,
that's you saving $970 over 3 years. And there you go. There you go. That's your $35K right there.
If you want to be like a property investor or like flipper, if that's going to be your career, I think that's
yes,
fine.
I'm saying it depends on your goal. If you're trying to flip, or even if you're a first time investor and you're trying to get an investment property, I would recommend going into areas and going into markets that are a little bit more affordable. And start.
Hey, Amin said the seller. He said the seller's gonna pay the closing costs if he wants him to buy it.
They can, but it has to be negotiated. I mean, I wouldn't go into
they can, but
deal.
you gotta.
I wouldn't go into every deal thinking the seller's gonna play the closing.
No, you gotta like depending.
Now, Amin said it ain't gonna be a deal if he don't pay the closing costs.
Depending upon how much money you have available liquid, and if you're a first time investor, and you're going into this by yourself, I would say look at alternative markets first. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of first-time investors do is they try to go too big too fast.
Yeah, that's true too. You maybe start with like a fixer-upper single family, but I mean, how many times you're a loan officer, bro? How many times can you use the FHA to buy something?
You can use it as many times as you want. So once usually what people do is they'll get into their FHA, and then refinance it into a conventional, probably 2 to 3 years, and then after it expires after 7 years. So after that first 7 years, you can go and get another FHA.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say I disagree massively. Actually, if
you disagree with what?
When people try to invest in things like housing, what they're trying to do is they're trying to outperform the current market. I'm pretty sure it's been proven that if Donald Trump just put all of his money into an index fund and then left it there, he'd be richer today than he is right now. For like the average investor, the best thing you can do is just put it in index fund and then leave it there. And don't try to time the market, because if you're trying to time the market, you're already losing.
There's a hindsight bias there, but
but I think people always it's an investor's world. I mean, everybody's gonna need somewhere to stay, and everybody's not always in position to buy. Right. So if you're in a position to buy and rent out, I would recommend.
Yeah, but in order to do that, but when you like trade or flip properties, what you're trying to do is preferably you're trying to outperform like the market, like the average market, right? But a lot of times it's just easier to throw that all that money in an index fund, and then a lot of times will perform just as well, or if not even better, for like no work.
Interesting. We're gonna get to some other people on the panel. Jay, how you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I totally agree. I work at UPS. I work right at 60 hours.
Well, I'm black.
Insurance.
But the first thing I did was quit all my
benefits. I ain't gotta pay for nothing. I can take care of my child. I can work as many hours as I want to. I'm happy with that. I bought my first home at 30, using my 401k with the FHA, and that's all I needed in life. I don't ask for too much. I'm not greedy like that, and I invest too in the market. So,
where do you live? You work for UPS. Where do you live?
I live in Georgia.
Yeah, you're racked up, bro. You're not fooling me,
man. I'm racking up.
Yeah, bro. See, you got into the right fucking lie, because I already know people that work for UPS. You pulling over $60K a year.
Over that.
You working on Christmas, nigga. You don't get a Christmas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's probably 80, 90.
Somebody in the chat asked what an index fund is. I want to answer that. I think that's very important. That's a good question to ask. So an index fund is an investment that follows or indexes. That's why it's called an index fund. That it automatically follows the performance of a part of the market. So like S&P 500 or like the total U.S. stock market, that's an index fund. And you do that instead of picking individual stocks. The index fund gives you a piece of the entire market in one investment. So it's diversified, it's low cost, and you don't really have to touch it. You use it to build wealth over time. So let's say you bought the S&P, and if the dude in here that knows about index funds, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say you buy the S&P 500 index fund. that means you own a tiny piece of the 500 biggest companies in America. So that's like Apple, Microsoft,
Yeah, that'd be
Amazon,
correct.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. And as their stock price increases, your index fund value goes up. So you're not doing one stock;
Yeah.
you're betting on the economy as a whole. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what an
And the
index
U.S.
fund is.
Yeah, and the U.S. economy has just gone up and up and up historically. So if you put a lot of your money or into an index fund, just statistically, by the time you retire, you'd have a lot of money, and it takes a lot of work, and I mean a lot of work in order to try to outperform index funds by investing in stuff like real estate or Jesus, I know there's other averages or other investment opportunities. You have to be really good at that in order to outperform the market, and a lot of times it's more hassle than it's worth. So I think for your average investor, just throw that stuff in an index fund and then don't sell, never sell, and don't try to time the market, because if you're trying to time the market, you're already losing.
There you go, Christopher. How old are you? What do you do for a living, man?
Well, I don't know where you guys are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm 28. I am a pawnbroker.
Okay. How much you make doing that?
I make around 50 to 55K.
Okay. All right. Great. I'm just a guy. Welcome in. How old are you? What do you do for a living?
Hello, 24, and I am a registered nurse.
All right. RN. Finch, how old are you? What do you do for a living?
Yo, I'm 25. I'm an entrepreneur, and I also work a job. Stack over Shine on Instagram.
All right. You want to plug that one more time?
Stack over Shine on Instagram.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna go down the panel. I'm gonna go from the bottom to the top. Cringy leftists. You think people need to be working 60 hours a week if they're serious about being successful in the world today?
It depends at what point they want to retire. If you want to retire when you're 65, you probably can work less out. You can probably work less hours and just have your and then just retire later. If you want to retire at 40, you probably should work more hours. Depends on where you want to be in the future.
Okay, that's an interesting take. Level up. What do you think? Yes or no?
Absolutely, you should be working. You should
That's
double that.
that's the answer I thought I was gonna get out of you. Christopher, what do you
Double
think?
that.
Yes, he said double that. What do you think, Christopher? Yes or no?
I think that's not enough. I think you should be working more hours, honestly.
Oh shit! The chat is not gonna like you. I'm just a guy. What do you think?
I think it depends. If we're qualifying work as education hours as well, then yeah, sure, because it's a short-term gain. But across the lifespan, no, less.
So you agree, because that's what I'm talking about, short term.
Oh yeah. If you count education as work, then yeah.
Finch, what do you think?
I sincerely believe being an entrepreneur and working a 9 to 5, that kind of already volunteers me for that 60 a week.
Right.
Content creating, doing the whole 9 as soon as you clock out and before you clock in. I feel like either way it goes, it will naturally come about if you're intentionally trying to succeed, because 60 hours, if you plan on, I want more hours, it doesn't happen like that naturally. Naturally it happens this benefits me, I'll put more time into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what
it seems like everybody on the panel agrees, man. So
people see, just to make a quick point, people see television actors and say, oh, that looks fun. Yeah, I wish I could do that. And I'm not saying it's not an exciting career, but if you know anything about television, you know that some of these TV shows, it's 12, 15-hour days that they're shooting a show. They start at 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes earlier. The actors spend 2 hours in makeup. Then they start shooting. They take a break. They shoot again. Before you know it, it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. All right, that's a wrap. Go home, get a few hours of sleep. Come back, do it all over again. They do this for 8 to 9 months. That's if it's a television series. If you're on a film, the film may be shorter, and you may work the same amount of hours. What they don't see is the 300,000 unemployed actors who are pouring coffee, cutting bagels, sweeping floors and doing what they need to do, to the point where some of them are so destitute they don't even qualify for health insurance. So we have to recognize that anything worth doing or worth having, whether it's to be a celebrity, be a content creator, whatever, it's not going to happen overnight. And this notion that you're going to work 15 minutes a day and then have the rest of the day to be with your family and take your kids to school and play in the pool and all this other stuff that you see on Instagram, it's all cap. At least in the beginning, you're going to have to sacrifice and put time in. There are people out here who are a one-man operation who are working 15 hours a day to get their business off of the ground. So we have to stop with this nonsense that, you can just work a few hours and everything's going to work out. People who are entrepreneurs and business owners, they work 10 times harder than employees.
Right.
They have to, because everything falls on your lap.
It might
not
be
just
possible
even that,
to work.
because
It might be
and not
possible
just
to
even
work like. Oh, sorry, my bad.
I was gonna say, not even that. Like, you can work those many hours, double, triple what people be doing, and not even reach the point where you feel that you're successful.
Right. That's true. Hey, somebody said something in the chat. Spears said, a lot of people are agreeing tonight. He said, is the host changing TikTok's mindset? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There's a lot of people agreeing tonight. We changing the mindset, bro. We changing the mindset of these lazy motherfuckers out here, man. Come on.
I'll just say
Come on, man.
It might. It's probably possible.
If you want to be successful, you got to get out there and work, guys. It's not.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna hand.
Things don't fall in your lap. You have to work for it.
Nobody's gonna hand you anything.
That's true, man. Ain't nobody changing nothing, bro. Come on, man.
I've watched guys start crime scene cleanup businesses from scratch. It was a one-man operation, then it was a two-man operation, then it was a four-man operation. But these guys were running all over the tri-state area, cleaning up everything they can to put money in the bank, and they put it all back into the business. And they were not getting up in the morning at 8 and coming home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not what was going on.
The investment.
Hey, man, look, somebody in the chat said, let's get it there, man. Hey, look, man, look. I've been doing this for a little bit. I think we're changing a lot of people's mindset. I think we're changing, because see, money talks and numbers scream, bro.
Stack overshine, man. It's about
Okay, actually, I kind of disagree.
Have to.
I think.
Nah, you can't disagree now that I'm hyped, motherfucker. You can't disagree now.
What?
Come on, man.
I never said wait a second. I never said I agreed with the 60-hour thing. I think it's very.
You literally
possible
said you said depending on when they want to retire. That's what you said. And
yeah,
then
I don't think here's what I'm thinking. It might not be feasible for like the average person to work 60 hours a week.
Yeah, okay. All right. Nah, now I'm there. I'm there now.
Here's the thing. If you are college educated, get a decent job, switch jobs every 4 years, invest in an index fund, you could probably comfortably retire with a couple million by like 55.
Comfort is not going to get anyone anywhere. I feel like earlier, dude mentioned if you have one stream of income, that means you're one stream of income away from being broke. And I also feel like earlier when dude mentioned, I'm sorry to go back, but this is my only time to speak. But he had mentioned something about the index, and I mentioned in the comments how if you're looking to do a long-term investment and you're arguing internally real estate or stock, look at which one is more liquid for your situation, because with real estate, you have more internal verticals to like, okay, I bought this property and I also have this ability to possibly do the electrical or do something handyman, put some drywall up, because I'm going through that same situation currently. And that also is opening another skill where I could build off of and make the investment another investment inside of it, like an inception investment, if you will. But when you want to,
I just think in order to,
there's a lot of
what you're trying to do and look at your ROE first, because I'm 25, I'm young, but I know by 30, I knew where I was going to be 5 years ago now. So now I know by 30, I don't want to be waiting or looking at the market, typically, because we just seen in February that shit can just go sour immediately. and your funds can go right with it, even if it's in the index. If that's one of the safest investments. I'm an investor in VOO, so I understand,
Guys,
both
just
sides
I can
of
dig
how
it.
you
I'm
go.
doing that. I'm sort of doing that too.
Guys, my best advice I could give, I think what the gentleman said is correct. I think Atticus is correct. I also would add, and I also know that No Excuses is already on it because he mentioned something about cutting grass. We have to start looking at the non-sexy businesses.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Shit that you do with your hands.
Yeah, there's an untapped resource, whether it's HVAC, whether it's landscaping, whether it's electrical, whether
Plumbing,
it's
welding, being a mechanic.
Right,
The more
commercial cleanup or residential cleanup or crime scene cleanup. There's untapped markets out here.
Exactly.
These are not nice jobs. They're not clean jobs. In the beginning, you're going to get filthy, but you're getting written checks for thousands of dollars when you do these jobs. And a lot of people are just overlooking them because they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't, even exterminators. There are exterminators out here who own $1 million businesses because they know how to manage the business. Like, we have to start. Listen, everybody's not going to be an A&R guy. Everybody's not going to have a beauty salon. Everybody's not going to have a dropship business, and everybody's not going to sell yachts and luxury cars. Sometimes you have to get into businesses that nobody else wants to do because that's where the opportunities are.
Especially with the age of everyone becoming more tech savvy and kind of quote unquote lazy. Everyone is looking to do something much more on their phone and digital. That leaves you a wide open market to not necessarily tax what you want, but make people pay with what you're worth for what you're doing because they're not going to spend the time doing it.
Imagine cleaning up a toxic waste dump and getting a check for $50,000.
I also had a cleaning business. People send you contracts on a daily basis for these cleaning companies. They just don't even want to clean their offices or their home spaces. Like, it's money and verticals everywhere.
Wait, what did you say
you find somewhere that
what did you say you were doing?
Hold on. One at a time. Yo. Hold on. One at a time.
Wait, can I ask Atticus? I'm genuinely trying to wonder like what he's doing. So did you say you have like a contract or you have a cleaning business?
I used to own a cleaning company here locally. I'm in Indiana, so the contracts here it's a lot of real estate, a lot of people, a lot of empty office spaces, a lot of people. I have a mentor. He owns the office space, and all I did was just ask, "Hey, who's cleaning here?" And he's like, "Well, no one." It's just.
How did you network into other like places, or did you just clean that office?
I started with my friend's aunt's home, and then from there it went to, hey, let me just ask my mentor if anyone's cleaning his offices, and from there it went. My mentor suggested me to 3 of his business friends that have their own businesses, and maybe they don't need my cleaning services, but I'm valuable enough to where, all right, I have a networking company. Well, we have events or something. Would you like to sponsor? Would you like to do this? Or I also, like, I'm just one of those type of people personally, like, it's a hustle somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you willing to get dirty for a couple of years, Mr. Kraft?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm already getting dirty, bro. I'm working 6 days a week.
All right. I'm just saying, I'm glad to hear that because a lot of young men your age and Mr. Atticus' age, they don't want to get dirty, and that's why a lot of these businesses go untapped.
No, that's real. I got a mentor as well.
So hold on, whoa, one at a time. Hey, Kraft. So you changed your tune, bro? You down with working 60 hours a week now?
Bro, I don't agree with anything you say, but I'm gonna be a hardworking man regardless, bro.
Well,
so you do agree with what I say then?
So that would be a yes then. That would be a yes.
Come on, Kraft. Come on, bro.
I have my morals, bro, but I don't think
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you try to start a cleaning business, you're not gonna be going to work at 9 o'clock and coming home at 3.
No. I'm not trying to start a business.
What exactly in the prompt?
Hey, whoa, stop. Whoa. One at a time.
Whoa.
I wanted to explain a little bit.
All right, Kraft is speaking.
I guess I just want to say, I mean, like in terms of me. I'm looking at my current prospects are retiring by 40 with like around 3 million, and working like maybe 35 hours per week. So it depends. Again,
don't think
I
you're gonna
really
get-
do think
I don't think you're gonna get that by
you
working
can.
35 hours a week.
Huh?
What are you doing for work, Crengy?
Wait, no, not 35 hours. 35. Yeah, no, yeah, 35 hours per week. Jesus.
What are you doing for work currently, Crengy?
No, I'm going to college. Then after that,
You're in school right. You're in school right now, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I've ran the calculations on
What are you studying, if you don't mind me asking?
cybersecurity, and I'm double majoring cybersecurity and law.
Oh yeah, you'll be straight on
Yeah,
cybersecurity.
in a few years with some experience, that's probably feasible because the salaries are only going to go up. But again, that's one of those sexy industries that sometimes get saturated. I'm not knocking that. I hope it works out for you, but I just wish more of us, especially the younger ones, would go into the industries that nobody else wants to do because that's where the money is.
And look,
that's where the
Crengy,
money is.
Crengy, I'm gonna tell you
law
this.
is not
Crengy,
law is not that easy.
Crengy, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Make sure while you're in
I'm
college,
not saying it's
make sure
easy.
you know
Hold on. Let Kraft go ahead.
Yeah, so Crengy, make sure while you're in college, make sure you network, bro, because at the end of the day, people aren't gonna look at like really your skills. They'll look at some of your skills, but at the end of the day, it's about connections, bro. You can get places just by knowing people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know some people in cybersecurity that have degrees and they don't go anywhere, but I also know some people that barely have cyber degrees and they're actually in a good position just because they know the director or someone. Like, I don't know. You just got to know people.
Yeah,
But Kraft, like I my whole thing is people working hard, bro. Like, if you're gonna go out and work hard, then that's all I'm telling you to do. I don't understand what the problem is.
It's just the fact that hold on, bro. It's just like
sorry, go ahead.
Not everybody has to go out there and work 60 hours a week. Of course, that is my mentality because that's just how I was raised. But I think like you calling people lazy just because they won't go out there and work 60 hours. I don't think that's okay. I think you're being insensitive to other people's situations.
So what is appropriate then? Like, what would you call them if somebody's working for 5 years at a $15 an hour job without trying to make more money?
I mean, they're serving the community.
That doesn't count as because they go to work. That doesn't mean they serve their community or don't really.
That's
serve
okay. Even if they were serving the community, like that's fine. But you're not meant to do it in that job for. I was a firefighter, but I'm not meant to do that forever.
I mean, some people are meant to do that forever. There are some firefighters. There are some firefighters who literally do that forever, or as long as they can. And that is okay. That's okay. That's. I think you're making it a problem. You think everybody should be businessmen, or you think everybody should be millionaires.
Never said
and
that.
That's not how it should be.
Nobody is saying that.
Nobody said that.
We're saying that whether
That's exactly
you're a
what you're saying.
business owner.
Hey, take that ping.
Raph,
hat
hold on a
off, bro,
second.
because you
Raph,
don't have
hold on a
any
second.
ping clubs. You don't have any ping clubs.
Hold on a
anywhere,
second,
bro.
please.
Take that hat off.
What are you talking about?
Hold on a second.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Hey, whoa. Hold on. 1 second. Level up. Hold on. What?
This is a teaching moment. I honestly believe this is a teaching moment for him.
Kraft.
Buddy's repping ping. And he's never owned one in his life. Crazy.
Bro, I have ping clubs. Why do you care?
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Why do you care what this man owns?
I don't care what he owns, bro.
Because he's so far away from internalizing what we're here
I'm not
for
far
on this
away from it.
TikTok
I just
Live.
don't.
You don't have an extra
y'all
past
know
the
this
work
man-
week
this man
mentality.
hates on
So now you got extra time.
Okay, wait. Just a
I
second.
don't understand. I don't know.
Guys, nobody can hear. Nobody can hear. Nobody can
This
hear.
is
Nobody
Sunday
can
night.
hear what you're
Bro,
saying.
one at a time.
One at a time.
I'm just saying though, it's a
Good.
Sunday
One
night.
at a time. One at a time.
Man, we
Hold
in
on,
here
hold
trying
on.
to get going before the work week on a Sunday night. Real people in here with real lives doing real stuff, and we not sitting here trying to downplay the next man. We in here grown men trying to real life
help
get
each
our
other.
minds together before.
And
we
you're
start.
in here making fun of this guy.
If we not about that,
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
you're in
trying to
here
hear
making fun of
nothing
this
else.
guy's situation. I don't care if he owns.
What situation is he in?
No, I'm just
bro?
saying.
What
I don't.
situation
Whether
am
he
I in?
listen, you asked me a question. Let me answer your question. I don't care if this man owns premium clubs or if he just bought the hat because he likes it. The information that
It was buy one get one free. To be quite
the
honest.
information that he's given out here and the platform that he's created can help somebody, whether to get a better job, start a business, or improve their situation where There's a lot of young men and women who are on this app who are struggling financially. And if the information that gets passed around here helps them get a better job, helps them move out of their parents' house, helps them buy their first home, it's valuable information. You coming up here like a high school kid trying to shoot the dozens, it's just throwing the vibe off. If you don't have anything positive to say to this man, just leave. Please.
So the problem is you don't know what this man has said. You're taking his side and you barely know him. I've been through a lot of his lives and heard the things he said, and it's very hurtful, bro. It's sick.
What have I said that's hurtful, bro?
It's the way that
rhetoric,
you
man. This is not the platform
bro.
for
Can
you.
you be quiet?
Why
I'll
come
still
back?
be
If
here,
you're getting
bro.
smacked around on this app, why come back?
No, nobody's been smacked
That's
around.
like going. That's like, you know what
Because
that's like.
you guys
That's
y'all
like
are
going to the
grown men.
same club every day and getting jumped. Well, why would you do that?
Y'all are grown.
Why would you
That's
do
like
that?
going to
Stop
work
club.
every day and not doing
guys,
anything
guys.
other
One at a
than
time.
trying to be the same.
But that's the
better
thing, bro.
employee.
Like
If you're not
y'all
trying to do more
and
than just go to work
Kraft
every day,
is
get out of here.
Kraft is 20 years old, man, and so I get
Bro,
it,
stop telling my age.
bro. You don't, bro. They're gonna figure it out. They're listening to
No,
you
they're
speak.
not gonna figure out
They're gonna
nothing,
figure
bro.
it out. But
If
you
you
can't
got
have,
something-
I'm saying is, y'all,
brother. Wait. You cannot have paper thin skin out in the world today, bro. It's not gonna work. I haven't said anything hurtful on here.
Oh no,
Now-
trust me, I have tough skin, bro.
Yeah,
Way
okay.
tougher than you. I trust me. I have way tougher skin than you've ever seen in your life, bro. I don't let anything get to me. I know
That's
how to
great,
deflect things, and I
My
know
point
how to. I know how
that
to.
if you're being mistreated on this live,
Oh,
why
I'm
do
not
you-
being mistreated. He's mistreating the minimum wage workers. That's what he's doing.
I want
No,
better
I
for
don't-
them,
I
bro.
don't-
That's
I
why
will
I
not
want
stand
better
for
for
that.
them.
Maybe they don't always want better. The thing is,
If you don't want better and you're choosing less, then let's
What?
just talk about the next
no,
subject.
it's just
Can
like
we
you
get back
downplay
on-
them. You
on
don't
some,
want better
like,
from them.
real
You're
talk?
making fun
Like,
of their situation.
we're digressing at this point.
Yeah,
So pretty much the host. The
He was
host
having some
hates-
real
absolutely
transcendental
hates minimum wage
vibes like
workers.
5 minutes ago.
He doesn't like minimum wage
But
workers
hey
at
guys,
all.
I do have a question though. What would be like a good jumping point for like a trade?
A trade school.
In a sense, is that like the only type of way, or are there any other programs?
Bro,
I'm sure
not
there's
gonna lie,
other
you're
ways. I'm
double
sure there's
majoring
other ways where you can
cybersecurity and
work
law.
with
I
different
wouldn't worry
companies,
about a
but
trade.
typically, one of the biggest, like statistically, one of the biggest factors when it comes to
That
your
boy
future
loves
income
his
and wealth
statistics,
is any kind of post high school education, like a trade school or like a certificate or like a 4-year degree.
I'm just sick of the host, bro. He's pissing me off.
Brother, please.
He hates
I didn't even do anything.
He
I didn't
hates
do
minimum wage
anything.
workers, bro.
Pissed off about what he's doing.
He
Get
literally
out of his
absolutely
space
hates him,
then,
bro, and I
man.
just
Come
don't
on,
stand for
man.
that. He's talking about if you don't work 60 hours a week, you're the laziest piece of shit on earth, bro. And I just don't like that.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie though. I have said that before.
Yeah, I know you have.
I have said that before because
you said a lot of
because-
things that are very, very bad, bro, and I just don't get it.
Well,
Peyton,
it's
shut
because
up.
I want better for these people and they don't understand their potential out in the marketplace.
Okay, so maybe not everyone has the potential, bro. You have to understand.
but
not
I believe
everyone's
that they
gonna have
do,
the
though.
potential of being a millionaire, bro.
I'm
Some
not talking
people-
about being a millionaire.
It's okay for some people to just be a minimum wage and work and
No,
serve
it's
the
not.
community,
No, it's
bro.
not. No, it
It's
isn't. I'm just gonna
okay.
go ahead and say it. It's not okay. No, it isn't.
living your life where you're living from hand to mouth every day, and you're hoping that you don't have an oh shit moment where an unexpected bill comes up, and then you have to scramble to figure out how to pay for it. That's no way to live, bro. Not
This
long
is
term.
not the accept mediocrity.
Yeah, that's no
live.
way to live
If we're
long
gonna
term.
keep
This is the
listening to
this is no
mediocrity,
excuses podcast, bro. Like I don't
we're
know where you
digressing.
thought you were at.
You know,
But no, what I'm saying is it's
one of the
okay
best
for a
feelings
minimum
that
wage worker to work, bro.
Hold on
I
a
respect my
minute.
Walmart workers. They serve the community.
This
every
This
single
is
day.
probably why you never learn anything, because you talk more than you listen. And
Yeah, that's
no,
part
trust
of
me,
it.
I don't.
That's
It's
why
just-
you never.
I'm not
because
listening
I'm-
to what you guys are saying now because you're not giving me valuable information.
Then
Right.
get off
Then
the
why are you
panel.
here?
Give
Then why
someone
are you
else
here?
valuable with a voice the chance to speak.
I'm here so I can change you guys' mind.
You know, you're
because
not
the
going
host
to
is
change. You're not going
right.
to change your mind.
Of course,
You're
need
in
to
the
work hard.
minority,
You need to
bro.
work hard.
If
and
I
You're not
change
gonna
my
change your
mind,
mind.
if I
You
change
said
my
I'm not
mind,
what?
You're in the
You're not gonna
minority,
change
bro.
you're not going to change your mind. You have a young man who's 25 who has a job and his own business. You have another gentleman who is thinking about retiring before he's 50. I don't know what
He
Chris
said 40, bro.
I don't know.
He didn't say
I'm
50.
sorry. I don't
Maybe
know
if you
what
would
Chris's
listen and open
situation
your
is.
ears, you would have heard that he said 40.
I don't know what Chris's situation is, and you have the host who owns multiple businesses. You're not. You probably shouldn't even be in this live, bro. You need to go to
you're the person that needs to be in here. Crazy enough.
No,
yeah,
no.
so
what I'm saying
up.
is,
You're
if you don't
idiot,
think any of this is valuable,
because you're saying that, that's how I can
if
tell
you don't
not
think
a real
any
black
of this
man.
is valuable,
I can
then
tell
go
you're
to
not a
the
real black
excuses
man.
live.
What?
Go
What
to
do you
the
mean not a real?
man.
What do you mean not a real black man?
Because he has a huge ego.
I do too.
Absolutely huge.
I'm black now.
But see,
But
here's
the
what
first
y'all.
thing
I know
did
it.
was
I know
quit
it's.
all my jobs.
I'm sorry, bro. Every time Uncle Ruckus goes up there, that shit is hilarious. Look, so when we're talking about the things that we're talking about, bro, like I have to have the ego that I have in order to go out into the marketplace and
No,
believe
you don't. You
that,
don't have to have an ego,
bro. Just listen, bro. Just listen. Let me finish. You
can have confidence and not an ego.
God damn. I have to have the ego that I have in order to go out into the marketplace and believe that I could compete with people that have been on the marketplace for double the amount of time that I've been alive. In order for you to go out into the marketplace and compete and do what
I'm black now.
and do what I do.
The first thing I did was quit all my jobs.
You have to have a way about yourself that believes I'm better than the other people out here and I can come out here and compete with the people that are actually out here building businesses. I can do it because of who I am. So the whole ego thing, y'all try to use ego as a negative thing. I use it as a positive thing. If you don't have that ego, you're probably not going to do well.
Got you.
So I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming up, man. But every time you come up here, man, you kind of derail the conversation and you bringing in negative shit.
I have a question though. So if I were to invest in the stocks, would now be a good time to do it because it's plummeting? Like, do you think that it would be a good time
it depends on what you're trying to do.
Anytime's a fine time to invest.
Yeah, it's
anytime.
But I mean, now if the stocks are cheaper and you believe that stock's going to go back up and be higher than it was before, then yeah.
Got you. So what apps? Like, what are some good apps to use?
For stocks?
Yeah.
Because
I heard
you can use.
I heard Coinbase or something is good.
No, Coinbase is that's for cryptocurrency. But
you want to download?
Oh, crypto. Okay,
I used TD Bank. That's what I use.
Webull or Robinhood are kind of real good.
I don't use Robinhood anymore ever since what they did with the GameStop thing. I took Robinhood off my phone.
That's a fair reason. I have both. I keep them on there only because just in case something else that might happen like that, you could use to your advantage. I'm not one to slay a guy for doing wrong or doing right. I get in where I fit in.
Right.
And in the same example too, before you start investing in stocks, internally know, like, again, to what I said earlier, the difference between liquid investments and this one is something that is like a non-liquid. Like, this is something you want to know if you're going to put money here, you don't want to be moving it and taking it out too much. Unless you want to get into day trading and all of the quick money.
I would suggest for you to paper trade before you do anything in regards to stocks. Like, for you to get your head in the market, see what you're doing wrong, see what you're doing right, get a strategy going, because it. Like they say, 90% of the people who start trading lose all their money within 3 months.
Honestly, I don't know.
But I mean,
day trading seems like astrology for investment bankers.
There are strategies that you can't use for you to gain money. You just have to figure them out.
Yeah,
see, my
it's
thing
not
is,
for everybody.
I want to do the thing where, like, I want to slow build. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to just like try to do fast money, bro. I'm not trying to like. I'm not
index funds. That's where you want to get into your VTI,
ETFs, MTFs,
S&Ps, ETFs. You want to get into the dividend paying stock, the stocks that you can start setting up that pay you, and then you can take the payments that they give you and automatically reinvest that right back into the same stock. Because the main goal with investing is either outpacing inflation or just saving money in general. That's kind of my personal goal because I'm a long-term investor. So, like, with the stock was taking a hit recently, I know I'm an investor in Bitcoin and things of that sort, I'm gonna have to go and add a few bucks into it because it just got knocked back a few. But when the market is green and stuff, I can chill and I can still add into it. But I know once it's green, that means it's outpacing inflation for me personally for my 10 to 15% what I add from my personal expenses to it. So,
well, all right then. So this is a great conversation. I'm glad y'all came up, man. I really am. I'm glad y'all came up. It seems like 4 out of the 5 of us on here are on the same page.
What are you talking about, bro?
Seems like 4 out of the 5 of us on here are on the same page. And
you said it again.
I did, correct. I thought maybe you were listening this time because I guess you didn't know what I said. But
I mean, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, what are you talking about? Like, why are you talking about 4 out of 5? I'm on the same page. I'm just saying you shouldn't hate on minimum wage workers. That's really it.
Kraft is in college. He doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
No, I do work. I work 6 days a week, and I'm paying for my own college.
But if you
what do you do? So what do you do for work?
Like this, if you work,
What do I do for
40
work? I
hours a
work.
week and you just add.
I work
What do
retail.
you do for work? Do you
I work
not want to
retail.
say?
No, I work retail.
Okay, so you work in a clothing store or something like that?
No, I don't work in a clothing store. I mean, I really don't want to say it, but I work in an arcade.
Okay, and you go to college. What are you studying?
Business.
Okay.
But
Is it-
I have a mentor, so pretty much I work. So this guy, he's at this arcade for like 25 years.
Oof.
So
you're getting a business administration degree.
I'm getting a business and management, but I'm not gonna really learn. I mean,
That's a very generic degree. You know that, right?
Yeah, it is. So that's what I'm saying.
Why don't are you planning on getting an MBA afterwards or?
I don't know.
Well, I'm black.
Are you doing
But the first
anything to
thing I
get any
did was
practical
quit all my
experience in the business world besides working?
Yeah.
at the
So
Thanks
like
for the
I
heart,
said, I have
man.
a
Appreciate
mentor.
it.
I have a mentor, and he was the COO of Vulcan Oil.
All right. Have you done any intern? How long have you been in college?
1 year.
Okay. So have you lined up any internships for the summer?
Nope.
So how exactly are you trying to gain valuable experience in the business world?
I'm getting valuable experience by having a mentor, and he's showing me things about business.
Right, but
so
are you actually working in a business? It's good to have a mentor.
Yes, so I work at a small
why-
business.
so
I don't work at a corporation, so that's what I'm trying to
I
tell you. The
understand,
dude literally
but why-
runs the
why-
business. He is teaching me. He's
Okay,
teaching me
I
how
under-
businesses run. He's teaching me, and the thing is, I just recently got this job not too long ago.
Okay. Did you try to find a internship for the summer?
No, because I'm working with him. I don't think you get what I'm saying. This is my mentor.
And what kind of business does he have?
Bro, did I not just? Are you an idiot?
Do you work under?
hear
Are,
you.
are you an idiot, bro?
Whoa, calm down,
I didn't
man.
hear you.
Because you
I didn't
keep
hear
on
you.
asking me the
Craft's so
same questions
hostile.
and
God
I'm giving you the
damn.
same answers.
Okay. You said he was the president of what? I didn't hear you, sir. I apologize.
Bro, I'm about to leave. Hey, host, kick
Yeah,
this dude for me, bro.
you should probably do that.
Yo, Craft, follow
Yo,
Stack
host.
Overshine on Instagram.
Yo,
man.
host,
We
kick
talked
this dude
about
for me,
that.
bro.
You can follow me.
Yo,
and
excuses,
if you want
bro.
to, message me, man.
Hey,
I don't
excuses,
mind.
you know me, bro.
Hold on. Kraft.
Excuses,
Kraft.
you know me, bro.
Kraft. He might just not have heard you, bro. Just all you gotta.
Excuses, you know me, bro. Nah, this dude's messing with me, bro. Like, I don't appreciate that.
All right, man.
Bro's
Good luck with
crashing out.
everything, bro.
Hey, Craft, if you want to, man, follow me.
Yo,
Private
that,
message me
that
if you
explains
want,
why he
man.
gets
I don't
triggered.
mind.
That explains why he gets triggered.
Yeah.
He's got a minimum wage job. That explains a lot.
Damn.
Anyway,
He's talking about a mentor, but what mentorship is he giving him?
I feel like any
That's what I was trying
good
to ask.
mentor would be telling him to get an internship, but
Exactly.
Right.
I don't understand. He's not getting any practical.
it's fine, bro. Look, some of these guys are gonna have to learn the hard way, man. Mel, how you doing, man? I hadn't talked to you in a minute.
I know, bro. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I've been good. I'm okay. I'm good.
Hey
But
guys,
yeah,
I'm gonna talk to Mel for just a second, and I'm gonna get up off of here. Thank y'all so much for coming in and having a conversation with me, man. Because I think we're slowly changing the mindset of people that come up here, man. So y'all have a good one, man. Mel, what's been going on, bro?
I've used your resume guide.
Hey, do you have a TV on in the background?
Yeah. Why is it too loud? Is it too loud?
Yeah. Can you turn it down for me?
I got you. One second, bro. I got you, bro.
Guys,
My
for
fault.
everybody that doesn't know, Mel, I gave him my resume PDF, and I was trying to help him find a job within his field. So
Yeah.
you gotta turn it, bro. You might have to turn it off, bro, because
I got
it's
you.
still
My
loud.
bad. My bad. My bad. I'm just in a party chat and shit on the game. All right. Is that much better now?
Yeah, that's much better. So what happened?
So basically, like, I've utilized your resume PDF, to help gear my resume, tailor my resume towards the cybersecurity or IT specialist job so far. I've been getting a lot of positive turnover ratio, so I've been getting a lot more interviews. But the thing is, I'm trying to learn how to really do well in the interview. I can't make it past the interview stage. But there's good news though. I've since we've talked, I've gotten a new job as a remote work from home IT specialist. But
okay,
they're
nice.
Paying, yeah, bro. They're paying, but the kicker is they're paying $20 an hour. So
Okay.
it's still like below minimum.
Did you apply to the
wage.
jobs that I told you to apply to here?
No, I haven't. Do you mind resending resending me those job posts if you can?
You were supposed to write them down, bro. I'm gonna resend them to you. You were supposed to write them
Got you.
down because I remember telling you to
Yeah.
write them down when I told you.
Yeah.
So you can't get past the interview process.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on. What's happening when you go into the interview? What you having a problem with?
I'm thinking that I'm nervous. Like, I don't know how to sell myself. Like, I always catch myself using words like and, or there's like pauses, and I just don't overall sound confident when I'm explaining how I am, what my portfolio is, just my professional background, and I feel like that derails me from other candidates. Like, that puts me lower. So I'm still trying to learn how to be more confident. Or do you have any advice or anything you could
Well, I'm assuming they're asking questions like, "Tell me about yourself," right?
Yeah, and to tell me about yourself, and then other questions pertaining to the job too. I find myself.
But I'm
getting
assuming you're
stuck
able to
into-
answer the practical questions, right? Like when they ask you questions about cybersecurity and stuff, you're able to answer them.
Yeah, but it's like half of the time I find myself getting stuck and caught up in thinking in between those questions as well. Like, if you know what I mean, if you get to what I'm saying.
Well, normally when jobs ask you tell me about yourself and stuff like that, man, they're asking you hey, they're saying they're really asking, are you a clear, focused, and are you passionate about the job that I'm trying to hire you for?
Yeah.
Okay, so you.
But I feel like my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's fine. Go ahead.
I feel like I'm doing that but I feel like I don't know maybe and another thing is too sometimes I would forget the different stuff that I put on my resume too, and that I would get caught up when they try to assess me on it or ask me questions about what's on my resume as well. So I think that plays a factor in it as well too.
Well, yeah, everything that's on your resume, if they ask you a question about what's on your resume, you need to be able to answer it.
Yeah.
So, this is what I would tell you to do. You need to get with somebody that's also within the cybersecurity field in your area and do mock interviews with them and go back and forth. Okay. When you do mock interviews with people, it needs to be somebody it'd be great if you could get with a recruiter and do it. But go with somebody, do mock interviews, sit across from each other, and practice interviewing for a job title or for a job position. Okay. And the more you practice it, the better you're gonna be at it typically. So, but it needs to be somebody that knows what they're looking for within the interview process. So somebody that interviews people.
Gotcha.
I can actually get you. I can get you some phone numbers to call for some people that are within that field that hire people, and people that hire people daily, or they have hiring authority, and I can get you the phone numbers of those people, and you can call them and see if they will help you interview better for certain positions. I'll be talking with you, man. You got my phone number, right?
No, I don't. I have your email though. I have your email.
Okay, I'll send you my phone number. I think my phone number's in that email, but I'll send you my phone number and you can talk to me, and we'll try to see if we can get you a guy on that can help you as far as the interview process is concerned, because that's the next step. You know, getting through the interview process is, you know, sometimes it's hard for some people. It's okay.
I'm sorry. This Philip said, "Hey, bro, he just need a man's kiss of encouragement."
Oh, hell no! Yeah, I don't know what the hell did shit he on. But look,
yeah, but I got one more thing too, right? So like,
yes, I have a cybersecurity guy. I have multiple cybersecurity guys.
Yeah, because I feel like I need more guidance. Because like in college, like during my undergrad program, you know, I found myself like I didn't really make connections as much, and I was just really laser focused, having tunnel vision on finishing my undergrad program and getting my bachelor's of science. So I think my networking plays a part in it too, while I'm not finding success in
networking is a big portion of it, man.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, man. So but my main question is though, like, okay, I've landed a job, you know, even though it's not what I'm looking for in terms of rate of pay and salary and stuff. So I'm going to, so how do I like move on from here? Because I do not want to stay in like the desktop support realm, like just stay stuck in there, you know? So what advice can you,
where are you trying to get to?
Like, I want to get to like, I'm looking for more of sort of a sysadmin role as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to.
But
like,
you know the requirements in order to get that position, right?
No, not really.
So
no,
you need to look up the requirements in order to get that position and fulfill those requirements, as far as like what certifications you need or what experience you need.
So I should just, you know, just hold on to this IT support specialist job as I can, work my money, then look into the job description or the different things that I need for that role, for that sysadmin role, and work towards it. Try to gear towards it and try to just enhance my skills, right?
Right. I mean, you just gotta. I mean, when it comes to the interview process, bro, practice is gonna get you where you need to go. You're gonna have to see. Because people don't really do mock interviews in college for whatever reason. I don't fucking know, but they don't do mock interviews in college, or a lot of people don't have that experience of doing a mock interview. So practicing that is gonna get you where you need to go, and then having the network is very important as well. But if you're trying to get into a different role, right, you need to be able to fulfill the requirements of that role, so that when you get the resume, when you put it on your resume, the interviewer knows, hey, this is a guy that I can bring in for an interview, that he can do this job, right?
Yeah.
So you need to start working on that as well. But I'm gonna get you some phone numbers from people that you could talk to that are in this field currently and that have been in this field for decades, that can give you the information that you need in order to get into the field that you want to get into and get into the job that you want to get into. Just shoot me a DM, send me your phone number, and I will get that to the right people so that they can call you and help you out.
And again, I appreciate, you know, what you've done, like, you know, sent me, because that your resume PDF, that really helped me. Like, it really made me think, like, damn, I was just putting like just anything on my resume, or making a resume that was so like generic, just so general. Like, it really fixed my resume, man. Thanks.
Oh, no problem, man. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to make it better. I'm glad that it made it better.
Yeah.
But shoot me a DM, bro. Shoot me your number. Send me your number, and we'll talk. We'll get it worked out for you. Okay.
Got you. I'm gonna be. You're gonna be on live for a little bit longer, because I actually enjoy your live, man.
I'm at the 4 hour mark. I'm at the 4 hour mark, bro. I gotta go. So but I'll be live. I'll be live again this week. Check me out tomorrow.
For sure, man. For sure. I'll be sure to shoot you a DM, man. Thank you again. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you again.
No problem. All right, bye bye.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. It's hard, man. It's hard out here. It's hard, but with enough work and enough preparation, you can get there. The networking part is a big portion, man. It's who you know, man. It's who you know. It is who you know. That is very, very important. But hey, man, thank y'all so much for stopping by on the live. We had a lot of good conversation. We had some nonsensical bullshit, but that's typical on TikTok. So it was a lot of people that agreed tonight, man. I think we're starting to change we're starting to flip the script on this shit. So it's a real good thing. If you guys want to catch a live again, make sure you drop a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, so that you can stay up to date on all of the videos that we're going to be posting. We are doing interviews with successful people this month, so stay tuned for that, because we're going to be doing we got a former MLB guy we're going to be doing an interview with. We got some CEOs we're going to be doing an interview with. So make sure you guys are following the channel, keeping up with everything that's going on, and learning as much as you can, because that's what's gonna put you above the curve, man. Most people aren't doing this stuff. So anywho, y'all have a great night. Have a great one, a real great one. And remember, man, no excuses. We out, man. Y'all have a good night. Peace.